Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the official Goobster's Room podcast. And today I am joined here by my friend Ethan Rays. Say what's
Hello.
up. Yeah. So, real quick, before we get started, the reason why I invited you is because you're kind of a mysterious character. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason why I say that is because you're not very public on the socials or whatever with whatever it is that you do within music, but you do play a very important role. You know what I'm saying? For the ones that you make music with, you know what I'm saying? And also you do have a pretty interesting background. So for those who may not know, introduce yourself and what are some of the things that you kind of do when in regards to music.
My name is Ethan.
There you go.
Ethan Rays. I produce. I engineer, record, mix. I songwrite. Kind of do the whole shebang. Yeah,
Like a Swiss Army knife in the studio, huh?
exactly.
There you go.
So I try to.
Yeah, and as far as engineering goes and all, another reason why I wanted to invite you here as a guest is because we just had the whole conversation right now about gear, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna throw that at the end real quick for those, because we had a whole fucking conversation, got that on camera. If you guys want to hear strictly engineering talk, just check that shit out at the end. I'm gonna just throw that at the end real quick. But you're a very knowledgeable person when it comes to gear and music and all that, and I feel like that's kind of not hard to find, but you know what I'm saying? Not a lot of people have that passion and that true interest that I've came across, at least, you know what I'm saying, with music on that level. So that's another reason why I wanted to bring you on, and you have a creative ear and passion and all that, you know what I'm saying? But so real quick, let's get started. So the first thing that I want to ask you is what got you started with music, and how long have you had your musical background for, you know what I'm saying? Because I've just known you for a little while now.
Yeah.
But where did it all start?
Well, when I was young, when I was like 5 or 6 or something,
Yeah.
my dad made us take piano lessons,
Yeah.
but that didn't last long.
No, I get what
It
you're
was
saying,
short-lived.
Yeah.
That didn't. That was probably a few months, so I didn't really gain anything from that. But when I was 8, I saw a guitar, an acoustic guitar. I remember at some mall or something, and my dad saw that I was interested in it, and he got it for me.
Yeah.
And my dad, grew up playing guitar. He was in a band in college, and he was always playing music around. I grew up in a house where there was always music playing, pretty much.
Yeah.
He put me onto a lot of stuff that I wouldn't have known from various genres, which was really cool. And then I played in the school band in 6th grade and stuff, and then I just stopped. I played sports and shit. And
Yeah.
when I was about 15 years old, it was just, I was in this weird phase of my life, of my adolescence, and I was just like, I listen to music all the time. I was definitely more into rap at that time.
Yeah.
And we being in school, I think I was a freshman or something.
Yeah.
And we'd be in school. I might have been younger. I might have been in 8th grade, actually, when this was happening. I might have been younger than 15. But, we would, there was, battle rap in the bathroom.
Oh, it always starts in the schools, bro.
Dude.
That's where it all starts.
Bro, and listen, I would, rap here and there, but I would never do that shit in front of people, bro. I was very, insecure about all that, and, I was not good. And, dude, so I was just sitting there, watching these people roast each other, and this is all the homies, so it was
What school is this?
It was Lila. I went to a French school, so
This was in where was it? Was it here? There's a French school here or in France?
oh no, no, not in France. This is in LA.
Oh, okay.
Oh
shit.
Well,
in the valley, right?
Yeah, there's a few campuses. Elementary was in Tarzana. Then I did middle school in Las Vegas. Their whole campus thing was complicated.
Yeah.
They don't have their shit together. But
well, of course.
that was actually they had opened a high school campus in Burbank, and it was middle school and high school, 6 through 12. In Burbank. So we were in the Burbank bathroom battle rapping. And,
that's funny as fuck.
And bro, they just turned on me all of a sudden.
What do you mean? They start
Bro.
rapping about you and shit?
Yeah, and at this point, this wasn't even in the bathroom. I don't think. But like, well, I just remember, I was a chubby kid and everything, and
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure there were girls around.
Yeah.
You know, it was a long time ago, so I don't know, but bro, they just turned on me talking about this and that,
yeah.
and and I had nothing to respond because I was like, and so after that, like, it all changed.
Oh, you're like, fuck this. That was the origin of the villain story right there.
The next day, I came ready. I
that's
came
funny
with a written too. I was like,
shit.
I was super fraught. But after that, I more interested into recording and stuff, and I've always been enticed by recording and like how things sounded. And so I bought my first mic at a pawn shop in Sylmar. I'm pretty sure actually.
What mic was that?
It was a Blue Spark.
Oh, okay.
And I was tracking it through this. I had a laptop, at an Apple laptop, and Logic. I'd cracked Logic.
What year was that?
Everything was cracked.
Well, yeah.
2015, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 2016? I think 2015. I don't know. It was like around that time, right? And, and I split it with a friend because I had a friend who I'm still friends with today, Florian, and who makes art. You guys should check him out.
Shout out Florian.
Yeah, I'll give him the Instagram so if you want to put it up. But so we split this mic. It was like $100 or something. It was like $50 each.
50-50.
Went to this pawn shop, bought it. I knew nothing about mics, and I was tracking it through this Behringer, this like live Behringer like speaker thing, and it had a through on it in the back.
Oh, what the fuck?
And it had like the EQ. I had no idea what I was doing at that point. And I would track that into Logic through a like I was using that as like my audio interface,
Yeah, that's funny.
And then I got a Focusrite. I got a 2i2.
Yup. Industry's favorite right there.
Yeah, and then it started, and then like my birthday when I turned like 17, my dad got me some gear, which like changed the game for me because it was like now I had fully entered the realm of like getting interested in
production
stuff.
And shit.
Yeah, I mean at that time I wasn't really producing all that much. I was
just
here and
more
there
recording and shit.
Oh yeah, dude, I was recording.
And what was some of the
day.
First stuff you recorded with like that?
Oh, it was all rap, bro. It was all my friends.
Oh, you're just rapping and shit,
bro. Yeah. Everybody I knew. I mean, this is like slightly before I knew Cheeks.
Yeah.
And Zeke, Cheek and Zeke. I met Cheek and Zeke maybe like a year after or something.
Okay.
And
what year would you say that you met them?
But I feel like early 2017. I feel like that, like spring 2017, something like that. And yeah. So before that, it was all the homies, whatever. Just like we were making funny ass songs.
Yeah, rap songs and shit.
Yeah, and some actually funny enough, like my friend Miles made this song called White Hose.
Oh, okay.
Bro, this shit, it got like 12K on SoundCloud. Like,
oh, really?
All the kids, all the. Yeah, it was funny, but
White Hose.
If you know, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Like more and more, I got into stuff, and I'd go down these deep dives.
Yeah,
and I met people along the way, and slowly got integrated into learning more and teaching myself more and using more and just messing up until I didn't.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it all, though, because. Like, I've known you for, like, a little while, but I never really asked you, like, how that is. But, that's pretty interesting. So, you said you linked with the people that you started with, Miles, right? He made White House? Okay, so he did... That's what it's called, right?
White House.
Okay, so...
You can't find it anywhere anymore, too.
Oh, well, that's how it be, though. Okay, so you made music with him... Did you record that song?
Yeah, like, bro, I didn't have a mic stand. We were just holding it.
Oh, yeah.
No, it was just for fun. Like, I wasn't serious about it, but it gave me a chance to like, mess up a bunch. And like,
when did you get... Okay, so that was like the beginning era, but when did you notice yourself get like serious into it? Like, when was that? Was that when you met like Cheeks and Zeke?
Yeah, right around that time. I was a few months before I started working on my first... like mixtape, and that's when I got really interested in stuff, and you know I was like again like cracking everything like the waves crack.
Yeah, yeah.
I had Auto-Tune 7. A
I
bunch
had
of stuff. You
I
know.
cracked Auto-Tune 8. Nah, it's funny because
No, you cracked Auto-Tune 8?
yeah,
That was
that's
a tough one to crack, apparently, right?
well, I mean, I
Or
was
did
on
you
Windows.
just oh,
I don't know if
facts.
you had
No, I was
Mac.
on Mac.
Yeah, on Windows, bro, you can crack
Crack anything.
everything. To be,
Don't crack.
nah,
But
nah. To be honest, look, I'm not even gonna lie. This whole studio, I have zero cracks.
yeah,
Honestly, in the studio, cause
I don't have any cracks anymore.
yeah, me neither. I feel like it's just like you value shit a little bit like
Yeah.
better when you actually like pay it. But obviously, still you could. I mean, there's different ways to go.
Got to
about
start
it.
somewhere at one point, though. You know, it's like
Yeah.
if you ain't got $1,500
Well,
spent on plugins.
no, I mean, I feel like that's like the way to do it because when everybody's starting music, I feel like you don't really know how serious you want to take it. I mean,
Facts,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure there's some people who are just like, yes, I'm gonna do this, and they're just like, boom, they blow all out. But in the beginning, it's like with how expensive music gear is, like you're not gonna go blow fucking like. You're like 200 on a plugin.
Oh, yeah,
You know
no,
what I'm
no.
saying in the beginning for just one plugin.
Seriously.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you had everything cracked, and then
And through that, I learned about like SSL because I was using like the G bus compressor, the Waves one, a lot.
yeah, because you had your cracks.
Because all my cracks. So I was
Yeah.
going through it, and early on, I was able to differentiate out of all the Waves plugins. Because with Mercury, you got everything right. So it's
Yeah.
like, and I mean, let's be real. Like even to today, like 90% of that, maybe even more. I
Didn't use?
don't. I mean, I have like I've gone through every single Waves plugin just to see what the deal is. You know.
Yeah.
But like most of it, I don't even touch now. Right now, I only touch like maybe 3 Waves plugins.
Really?
Maybe yeah, like C4,
I love C4.
Doubler,
Doublers.
4 mono stereo, and can't even think of another one.
Do you still
Oh,
use
Arvox.
Oh,
Ooh,
there-
Arvox.
yeah.
All
Arvox,
the way.
boy. Do you still use the MIG DSP multiband or no?
No, bro, that's so disappointing.
Yeah.
Because like
I've seen people use it. Like I'm not gonna like
Baines and all that.
yeah, Baines, Jason Joshua. Like they're big on the only MIG
They got
DSP.
that sponsor.
Huh.
You put me on a Footsbox, bro.
No, yeah, that's the only one that I fuck with because
Footsbox.
yeah, no, see, like you know what I'm saying. But I've seen people, yeah, use the 404, like Jason Joshua, but now low key, like I love just what C4 does or the interface on C4. It's like just like a little bit smooth. And to me, C4 and the 404, they do basically they
do the same thing.
the exact same thing.
They
so
do the same thing.
yeah, so it's like more affordable, but it's just yeah, I guess because they're sponsored or something.
Weirdly enough, I want to get into it because, like, you know, it's like I saw all of them. They're super into MIG DSP stuff. Even Mike Dean used a lot of the MIG DSP stuff.
Yeah.
And, sponsor or not, you know, they wouldn't use it if it wasn't good. And
Exactly.
so I was using the 404 I bought it, and then I was using it for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't getting the results I wanted. And that's really on me. It's not the plugin, you know.
No, well, yeah, of course.
So I went back to C4, and now the way
I love
use
C4.
C4, so, bro, that
Yeah.
honestly, it's like if there's any plugin that is the most essential for me, bro, it's C4.
We're the new generation. We're gonna start pushing that one.
Right? Exactly.
They push 404 because even 404 it just looks old.
Yeah, it looks like what they were growing up with. Not gonna lie, like
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So from
just cool.
yeah, so fucking yeah, so okay, so then back to you learning all that kind of stuff or whatever.
Through the cracks.
Yeah, then okay, so you were working on your mixtape or whatever, and then from your mixtape, then what was like the next? What was like the first serious projects that you started working that you took a little bit more seriously?
Well, it's interesting.
With people or yourself?
Well, with myself, I mean that's the thing. There was a period in time, I think around 2018. 2018 is when I started getting a lot more serious into stuff. We used to go to this studio at this at one of Zeke's friends' brother's spot, Wes's, and he had a crazy studio in there. It was in their garage, and they had just done it well, dude. There was a booth and everything, and we would just spend.
It was nice?
Oh, dude. I mean, for when you're
For
18, 17 years old, 16 years old, bro, 17,
That shit
18.
was clean, huh?
It was, bro, there was a couch in there.
Did it ever get hot, though?
Huh?
Did it get hot in there? Or they had AC
I don't
too?
even remember. They probably had AC. I don't remember, but that was a cool community of people. There's this dude Marcus who's such a solid dude, great musician. He still makes music. He's really great. And he anyway, like I learned a lot through there. And I started getting a lot more serious because we were doing. At that point, I was, it was like I was still rapping and stuff, and I stopped rapping shortly after. But like I was recording, Zeke and Cheek, like at that time, dude. Zeke was whipping songs out, bro. I mean, I'd get there after school. It would be like 5. We'd be there till 2 in the morning.
Was dope.
And just song after song.
How many songs would you guys get done within
It depends. But like at one point, I mean, I think the most we did was probably like in like 6 hours, like 4 or 5 songs, like.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And it's like actual songs. We're not talking like hook verse hook. I'm talking real
like
songs.
Actual like.
Yeah, and
period,
like
yeah.
and like demo mix, like it's all out. On average, we're probably doing like 2. There was never a time where we did less than 2 songs when we were going there, and we were there like almost every day.
Well, yeah. So to transition from that to that, that's the next thing I wrote down right here is like, that's kind of how I found you, because I guess in that period of time is when I first found out about Zeke. I remember like I listened. I don't know if he still has it on his SoundCloud, but like the first ever song, it's like a picture of like him. Like on SoundCloud, it's like I think I remember it was like a picture of him, and then another picture of him, but like in a MacBook, but like the or like a Macintosh.
Was it Fall Winter Prime? Is that the name of the song? You remember?
No, let me see. Hold on, let's look it up
Yeah.
real quick, cause
if it's because
no, it was like you could. It started off like you could find me in the dun 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 dun, and I should be the dun 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 dun. Let me see, like.
Yeah, I don't even think I tracked that. I think that was him. We'll find out.
Let me see. Well, that's whether you tracked it or not. That
Milk. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was like the first song
God.
that I heard. Yeah, trust. This is like anywhere. You see?
Oh yeah, he did
there's,
that.
There's the Macintosh.
Pretty sure he did that on a GarageBand or something.
And then and then I did hear Fall Winter Prime.
Fall Winter Prime was my favorite at that time. I loved that.
Yeah, shout out Zeke. Fucking trust. So like, I remember. Yeah. So 4 years ago, October 25th, 2017. Trust. Yeah. Like I found out about Zeke because someone shared his fucking song, and I remember at this time I made music too as well.
Yeah. The Akita stuff, right?
Yeah. Exactly. So I got into it, and I was like, well. When people shared other people's music, since I started in the beginning, I was like, well, I want to check it out. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, like, not listen to it or whatever. I want to see, I always wanted to see what the other people around me within the area were kind of making. So somebody shared that song, and then I found out, I was like, oh shit, this is kind of fucking dope. And then from there, like, he had all his, I think he only had like 4 songs out at the time. And then that's kind of how, so then from that, like, I saw his Instagram or whatever, and then that's kind of how I found out about you. That's how I found out about you. And it's funny because I would see, like, all the work that you guys did for, like, a year or something, but I never really, like, reached out or anything. Like, I just kind of saw it.
Yeah.
But then, like, at one point, that's when I reached out to you because I
remember.
Yeah, I saw that you engineered and shit, and I was like, hey. And then not only did I find his shit, but I also found, like, the shit that you did, like, the Round and Round. I remember that's one of the first songs.
That's when I started getting serious. Like that's when I started starting to get into the bag. Was
and I remember that one's fire. It was like count your paper, right? It
was like get your paper, some shit. Yeah, man.
About paper. Nah,
going super cinch flagrant.
Yeah, trust, and that whole thing too, like the whole image behind that and all that shit. That shit was dope. So fucking that's how I found out about you. And then so then I said fuck it, like I'm gonna reach out or whatever, say what's up or whatever, and then that's kinda how we built our connection there.
Yeah, I remember, bro, you hit me up and we had a studio session at this other room studio and I told you to slide. And it was kinda like, not gonna lie, I was like damn, he wants to slide to to see the session, like, oh that's tight. Like, and then no, I remember that day very well.
Me too, low key. Yeah, it was. There was a few people there.
Yeah, who was there? I mean, I know Zeke Cheek was there. Who else?
No, Cheeks wasn't there. Cause it was you, Cheeks, and then it was that dude Prime. and
Who?
Prime.
07?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And then
Bro.
you know, I get what you're saying. And then yeah, and fucking who else?
And I know who you're talking
Big
about.
Block.
Zoe.
Yeah.
Bro, that was the only time I ever met Zoe, dude. Like,
Yeah, me too, Loki.
Yeah, it was funny. He was good people, though. Like,
Yeah.
he seemed nice. He had a smile on it.
Hell yeah.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, so not well. I don't know. And then the reason why I reached out is because, like, I don't know, bro. Like, I honestly, like, around that era of time, and then I love this song, bro. Is it still here? Where is it? And then I remember, yeah, I checked this tape out,
Yeah.
Falling Upward,
Oh,
and you
God.
told me that you did that one too.
Yeah, I was going crazy. I was effects mixing.
Yeah,
not good mixes. Cowboy Bebop.
That one's
Dude, what
fire.
a record, dude.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then
I did the mix on Cowboy. Yeah, that shit. Nemo-ish.
I love Nemo.
Those were all recorded at my house.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Trust, like, I was fucking mad tapped into you guys. Like,
Yo, go up. Fucking us, dude.
Pretty
That's
heavy.
that we did at Wes's. That was, and Zeke cracked himself on that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wasn't there, and then I came back and mixed it. It was so good. On Auto-Tune 5.
Yeah.
The best auto-tune ever.
Yeah, so trust, like, I was tapped into like all of you guys.
Nemo Pessimist.
Yeah.
Man, these are like, bro, these deserve more, dude. These are hits, man.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like, trust, like, these were all and that's why, like, and not only that, like, from the SoundCloud shit to because then you also did his latest that was back a while ago.
Norquist,
yeah, Exit Norquist.
Yeah,
you did that shit too, and that shit's fire too, and that's why, like, bro, I know you're probably aware, but every time I see you, I'm like, what's up with the projects? Because you know, and I don't want to be a bother or anything, but the only reason why I ask is because I was genuinely like a fan too of the music. Man. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of music we're getting worked on right now, always. And it's
I'm excited to hear that shit too.
Yeah, I'll play something for you later.
I'm down
some stuff.
Yeah, I'm down as fuck. But yeah, so that's how I found out about you, and then that's how fucking whatever I reached out and we had the sessions or whatever. But so you also said too that you kind of had quit rapping too, huh? Right?
Yeah, I don't really rap anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's different now.
Yeah.
But so
it's great exercise though.
Yeah.
You want to learn how to write songs, dude? Rap.
Yeah.
You know.
Cause when I was in my group too in Aikido or whatever, like I rap too, but it's funny because I remember I had a period in time where I was just like, cause my story was like a little bit different but still similar along the lines. So for me, my group had like 8 people with myself included.
Yeah.
So the other 7 guys.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it was like we were all on some just rapping shit. We had songs with like all of us and shit. I still have like, dude, it's funny because like this is a new computer, but I still have like the most of my old sessions from 2017. So I still kept them. I could still go back and get vocal samples from us, like literally, like it's funny because sometimes I'll go back and then I'll just click like a sample and then all hear is just like talking about some random shit in the background, or I can hear like
just in the background,
like or our old voices or whatever.
Exactly.
Like it's a trip. But so we fucking had like a group of 8 people or whatever, and then they were always just rapping and shit, you know, more. And then me, I was really intrigued by the engineering side of things. So then I just said, whatever, fuck it, I'm gonna just help these guys as much as I can and engineer. And then slowly, like I stopped rapping myself too. So is that kind of how you got more serious into engineering, or?
I would say, I mean, I was always, the engineering stuff didn't really have to do with me rapping. Because if I wasn't rapping, like, I make music, I just don't rap anymore. You know? Like, and when I say rap, it's like, sometimes, you know, I get some bars off or anything, but I don't consider myself a rapper by any means.
Well, now that's something that I want to get into like a little bit later.
For sure.
Cool. Well, okay, and then so then besides the engineering, when did you also start to take the producing a little bit more serious? Because you're producing now, right?
When
did that start?
It depends. I mean, I was always like doing it here and there. You know, when I started taking it serious, probably around 2019. Where I started really tapping into stuff. And I met I don't know, bro. I get confused with dates and stuff. But like, I met some people along the lines. One of my good friends now, his name's Max.
Yeah, the dude that you be jamming out with, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a dude's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
With the instruments, huh?
Yeah, I mean, just like the way his brain works is completely different. It's actually crazy to work with him because, you know, we try to work together at least once a week or something. Sometimes stuff happens or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, when we work together, we're not making we're not making hip hop beats.
No, you guys are just like
we're
full pieces.
we've been working on some Afrobeat stuff last month. We're working on it because you know what we listen to on our own. You know, like we kind of put each other on to different things, but in the same realm, which is cool. And he's put me onto a lot of stuff, which is sick. But I'd say I met him at this house, like at this some function. He was playing. He had a Moog Subfat. He was playing over Hood Politics by Kendrick, and
Oh, okay.
I started talking with him, started chopping it up with him and stuff. And you know, ever since then, when we started working together, I definitely got a lot better working with him because he's, you know, he's studying jazz piano, like, and the dude, you know, like he does everything. Dude can play drums. Dude is a synth geek. Dude plays bass. You know,
He sound designs and shit too.
Oh yeah.
I fuck with that heavy. That's like
he's
along the
great.
lines of mixing too.
Yeah, and he's starting to get into engineering stuff. I mean, he's always been doing stuff like that, but
He's more like on the production side though, huh?
yeah, he's definitely. I mean, yeah, but you know, they kind of go hand in hand because when he's producing, it's like what's great about when we work together. It's like he'll do something, and then we'll talk about like the texture, what we want. It's like why, and right now he's really getting into the SSL stuff. And it's like why, like why we'd use, or like why we'd use a DBX over a LA2A. You know, like
The DBX compressor.
yeah, 160.
Why would you though, Loki? Because I've never played with the DBX.
Oh, bro. Okay,
Yeah.
well, dude.
Loki, pass me another beer before we crack this one,
Dude.
because I wanna know, because I've seen people use the DBX, but I've never really played with
it. The DBX, dude.
So the DBX over what, the 2A?
Completely different. I mean, 2A is opto. Like the way the DBX works.
What is the DBX? What kind of compressor
I'm pretty
is it?
sure. I'm pretty sure it's VCA. It might be no, I think it's VCA.
Okay.
But it's a weird. I think it's VCA. It's a weird compressor because, so it has a compressed thing, which is like, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's like the ratio and stuff. But they have like a compress knob. They have there's like a threshold knob.
Yeah.
And then an output gain knob.
Okay.
Knob, and it's like it intakes stuff like through RMS. So the more RMS you push it,
Yeah.
the attack and release change. Like that's okay.
That's
so,
pretty interesting though.
So I started using it on like I put it on all the if I'm playing bass, it's
DBX.
dude. I over compress I make that I make it tight. It's nice. It's perfect. It's I mean it's a limiter too. So it's like
Yeah.
it's great on bass, great on drums, not trap drums, but like more like if you're making like Dilla beats, stuff
Yeah.
like that, because it's reminiscent to like a SP303 or 404 stock compressor, you know. So that I think that I would call that that's my favorite compressor right now is the 160.
The DBX. Now, well, I mean that's like a good thing when you play basses. You're good. Trust you sure. But nah, that's the thing when cause you don't run 808s through it. You run actual like bass.
Oh, I have. It's fun.
Oh, you run 808s
No,
through it
I
too?
don't, but I have. I've run everything. I've ran Rhodes through it. I've ran guitars. I ran vocals through it. I ran it's like that's you know, it's like when you start using a 2A like or something. It's like you want to put it on everything like
just
a new
to see
plugin.
how
Like,
it sounds. Yeah.
but now it's mostly, and of course everybody's ear is different, but now it's mostly it's definitely always bass. It's depending like 65-70% of the
Do you
time
ever throw
drums.
Yeah, that's what I said. The drum bus. Yeah.
Drums. I don't even put it on the like a parallel. Like I'm taking like drum
Directly onto
bus,
the
like
drum
on the drum
bus,
bus.
yeah.
Yeah. And then like if I want some more stuff, it's 76 in parallel or whatever. But
Yeah, like the body and shit.
yeah, I mean what's good about the DBX is it just sounds like tight and like semi cheap. Like it's like it's such a good sound.
Well, I mean, I can see why you use it on bass too, because that's another thing for kind of loud. I mean, I think I saw you post it. You're like a fan of like dynamic mixes over like slammed loud mixes, are you?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say like I'm definitely like if I could track everything to tape, I would. Like I don't
Yeah.
I like a lot of headroom. Like if I wish the loudness words didn't exist. Like I
Yeah.
wish like people could listen to my music or the music I mix at like -8 dB
Yeah.
happily. But that's not the case. So I like
Minus ADBLUFS or
no
just
DBFS. Like I'm saying
oh like like that
actually
low.
like I
Okay.
wish that was like
Like that was a thing.
that was cool, but like it's not. So it's all right. But like,
Yeah.
and I'm not. It's not that I'm scared of loud mixes and stuff. It's just like what the music I listen to on. It's a genre to genre. Like
Yeah.
if I'm making some neo soul stuff, there's no reason for people to be playing it super loud. You know, unless they're DJing or something. But if they're playing house music or Travis, like Travis Scott is the loudest in the game for a
Yeah.
reason.
Yep. No, that's like yeah, cause well, I like how you say like genre because fucking yeah, like it is very genre dependent. Like if you're doing like a more like soul or whatever, it's like it doesn't or jazz or whatever, it doesn't need to be low key slammed that loud.
Should
So,
it be?
no, yeah, so that makes sense, but it's funny because me myself personally is like I feel like for the genre that I'm in, because I'm like predominantly in trap and like Travis Scott is the fucking loudest. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I want to
like
be
not
like
good.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I want to be like loud to fucking kind of like compete with other
Oh, you have
loudness.
to. You have to. Because
So
the consumer's used to it now.
yeah, and I've been like learning the dark arts. I trust, bro. It's low key crazy how in depth fucking loudness can get. Like,
Oh, dude,
it gets like
perceived loudness,
like,
all that, yeah,
yeah. It's
yeah.
like fucking like a dark art, and like like the way that you use clippers and like there's even like a plugin. Trust, like I've been like studying that like a lot, heavy. There's even like a plugin. It's like a clipper, but like
Soft clipper?
yeah, well, I forget what it's called, but it's like a clipper. Cause when you hit 0, like in your computer or in your DAW, when you hit 0, it's like a flat line. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
waveform is like a flat line. But when you do that, it could damage speakers.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a clipper where like it throws like white noise or something over it. So instead of like so it clips it and it clips the signal, but instead of it being like a flat line, it'll throw like noise on it. So it's like a little
You
sharp,
get a little more, yeah.
sharp peaks.
You get slightly more space and stuff. What perceived loudness with
Yeah,
that
so
stuff, yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Bro, when I produce music, no
Yeah.
matter the genre, I put this is a tip, dude.
Yeah,
This is like
the game. If you're tuned in,
if I'm gonna give one piece of game
There you go.
on this podcast, dude.
hell yeah,
And I don't want to withhold
I want
game.
to hear it. Yeah, I want to hear it.
But for all you producers out there,
Let's hear it.
and you might know it. This is not crazy,
Yeah,
but put a saturate on your master, and don't touch the gain. Don't saturate
a
it.
saturator. Well, which one do you usually
Oh
use?
yeah, well I work in Ableton, so I use the stock saturator, and on FL there's this like soft clip option that comes on the limiter
Oh.
that's stock. So when you open and that goes that you get into conversation of like FL20 versus FL10, right?
Yeah,
Or FL12,
nah,
and it's
yeah.
because people say they hit hard. It's like no, because when you open it up, they have a different adjustment on the limiter that's already on the master because it opens up with a limiter on the master, right?
Yeah,
So in Ableton, what I did is I put a saturator, the stock saturator, on my master track, and I put the soft clip option on. I don't touch the saturator. Don't touch it. Just soft clip on.
yeah,
It's impossible to clip. I can push that thing, dude. That's how like when I'm making stuff for Zeke or whoever, if I want it loud, and for Zeke, I usually want stuff loud because
Yeah.
he's more in that realm.
and that yeah.
Dude, there's sometimes I've been scared of how loud it was. Like it's not healthy. It's
Nah.
not healthy. But you can push it. You will never clip as long as the
love it.
saturator's on there. You will never clip.
I love it.
And that's some game, dude. Like I hope you guys already know, and I just sound like an idiot right now. But like
Yeah.
I hope that's the
Well,
case.
that's for the Ableton producers right there because which one?
Everybody doing Logic, get a saturator. There's a Brainworks, get BX saturator V2. Same. There's
There
an
you go.
option there. There's so many saturators out there. I'm pretty sure it has a soft clip. There's so many saturators out there with the soft clipped option. Stock saturators usually always like every DAW you got a stock one, and you can always put. They always got a soft clip option. You know, it's everywhere.
Okay.
It's everywhere. You don't have to do an FL though, because it's already done for you.
Yeah. Fuck, man. That's a fucking good tip. I gotta check that out. But fuck it, yeah. So from producing and all that other little, I love those engineering producing tangents. We'll get into more of those. But
Okay, cool.
But
cool.
before we do that, so also too, so do you have any like favorite engineers or producers, or like I know you have both, but what are some of your favorite engineers and what are some of your favorite producers?
Engineers,
Yeah.
it changes from time to time. It changes depending on. Right now, for the last year, I would say Russell Elevato. He did. The dude's ridiculous. I mean, he did like most of. Not most. He did like. He picked up where Bob Power left off on D'Angelo's Brown Sugar, and he did all of Voodoo.
Okay.
And the reason I like him so much, I'll keep this brief, is because he still records everything to tape to this day.
Why do you keeping it brief, but why do you like
Depth.
tape for depth?
Depth. You. I mean, it's just night and day.
The forward and back.
Yeah, you lose depth in in instruments like bass and vocals.
When you're recording to digital.
Yeah.
But what were the other? It was like recording to tape. And was it only tape, or did people record through other means? It was just tape and then to digital?
What do you mean? He doesn't... So what he does...
No, I'm not saying what he does, but just like the history of engineering as a whole.
Oh, no. I mean, it was always... Until Pro Tools started, until there were, like, softwares, it was always all to tape. And then you print to tape. Like, the term print is you're printing what you're doing on a console to tape.
Oh, okay.
You know? And... then you have a reel of tape with your music on it.
Yeah.
And then from there,
But then
there's a conversion process into vinyl. And at the end, early on, I mean, they only had vinyl. They didn't have CDs.
Yeah.
You know? And then CDs happened. It was CDs. You have a lot more space, too. And then
but when CDs came, it was digital, huh?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Fucking, so with that dude, so he records everything to tape still?
Yeah, he says... I mean...
So how does that work though? So it's like he has like a tape machine and he's recording everything on like the actual strips and he's slicing and cutting. Cause don't you do? He does.
He exactly. He's I don't know what tape machine. I don't know. I know. So I know that they did.
It's like shooting in film, huh? So it's like
Well, there's a lot. The margin of error is very inexistent. That's where the respect comes when you're dealing with real cats. Even the engineer, because it's like the tape spinning.
Like, yeah, and it's like
you can't at
the end of it,
it's
gonna cut.
You can do 20 mixes, but the budget is gonna
cost.
Huge.
Yeah,
and like that's when you start dealing with real cats. That's where the saying comes from. A good musician through a good mic, through good gear, makes a good song. And
100%. I love that.
When you're doing stuff like that, when you're recording to tape, and I've never recorded to tape. Let's be real here. I've never recorded to tape. I do a lot of tape saturation and emulation on my stuff.
And shit, yeah.
But I you listen to Voodoo by D'Angelo, and he's doing all those harmonies. There's no auto-tune. Are you kidding? Like, I think auto-tune had already come out, but you're recording a tape. He's not doing that. They're using Pro Tools. Russell Elevato uses Pro Tools as an editing software for like. It's not for like plugins.
Like for like voiceover or like.
No, it's not for any of that. It's literally for like now he doesn't have to slice on the tape machine. Like it's like.
Oh.
Like that's
all. Just edits.
He says he does 95% of his work or 90% of his work on tape to this day, and that's why those things have that sound. And that's a sound that I've always been infatuated with.
See, this is why I got you, my boy. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is what the first thing is, like, because you know a lot. Because I still learn from you, too. So,
for sure. Well, thank you. I mean, there's always more to learn. There's a lot of stuff I don't know.
Always.
We're still young, so.
Nah, it's cool, though. So, so you were saying?
The other engineer, who I don't... This is when I really started getting into it. I mean, I grew up on Thug and stuff, too. So, it was like...
Fuck yeah. Free YSL.
So, Thug's engineer, his name's Alex too. Well, not anymore. Baines is Thug's engineer now and stuff. And I have no idea how the switchover happened. But at one point in time, it was Alex Toomey, and that was, and I'm kind of talking out of my ass with this one because like this is just from what I noticed. I never had a conversation with this man, but I watched there's videos online of him.
Yeah, there's a lot of videos of him.
New York Red Bull Music Academy doing all.
Yeah, I've seen that one too.
All that stuff.
I've seen like probably all of his shit too.
So you see, yeah, exactly, and that really got me into, because at that point in time I really liked that sound, and I don't like that sound anymore. But
what sound like?
Well, like 2015 Thug, like.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, that shit was iconic,
bro. It's a special time. That's a special time. 2015.
Oh, who the fuck, bro? Nah.
So that's
Mikey, I'm gonna smack you.
that was a special sound. It's not like necessarily I don't like it. I'm looking for other things in music now, and I'd say he's still to this day one of my favorites. It's nothing to do with his sound. It's more a personal connection with the craft and how I came up in it. And he, it's like he put his template up on YouTube. I remember I copied it, dude. And now I don't use, the only thing I use from that thing is
the widener.
Pro Q.
Oh, the Pro Q?
Yeah. Oh, they're talking about the doubler or the S1 imager?
The
doubler. Yeah, I put doubler on my bro. Now I remember you came to a session and I did that, but now, bro, I'm getting very nowadays I'm simple. I'm straight. I'll play you some stuff and you'll hear it's a way better, dude. The doubler stuff I use really for. Yeah, it's like to widen something, to give something like depth, and to put emphasis on certain moments in the cadence, where it's like if you have a singer, and this is something I did 2 days ago with Esme, where it's like she has a verse and there's like 2 different flows, right? And if there's a moment she's like, in the song it's like, da-na, na-na-na-na-na, da-da. Yeah. So on the ta-das, I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. I might be totally wrong. But there's space between those 2 things, right? And it's flow. So on the ta-na, I'll put that doubler on her backing, so it gives it more emphasis. And then strip it away.
Like a background track, kind of.
I mean, it is a background track. Yeah. It's like an ad-lib. It is an ad-lib, but I only do it in certain spots where that emphasis
needs to stick out a little bit more. Or it's just like a flavor.
It's a flavor thing, and it's not necessarily... When I used to throw it on everything, it was like it didn't translate to the consumer. It was like, this is an effect. Now when I do it, it's like, oh, this is a type of harmony. There's something going on. I use it and I level it very specifically so that it's like, it's not like that Travis Scott doubler
wide,
effect.
like fucking in Astro Worlds or something, like Astro Thunder.
That's the best song on that album.
That one's mega wide,
bro. That song is crazy. You ever hear the first version of? Oh, my bad. No, sure. You ever hear the first version of that song?
No, I haven't.
It sucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not good. The second version is like one of the best Travis Scott songs ever. Which goes to show like
what the mixing does.
No, it was the beat. The first.
Oh, he changed the beat.
Yeah, the beat. The beat became something like before. It was just like. It was just not good.
I love that. I love that song because it feels like you're literally like in a spaceship. Like in the beginning, it's like
chill.
Like it literally sounds nice. like you're sitting in the cockpit of a spaceship and you're just turning everything off, getting ready to blast off into space.
And just clear too. It's like a lot of the Travis stuff. Well, I don't really listen to any. I mean, like you and I'm sure we grew up on the same stuff. Like we grew up on like 2014 Travis.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
bro, Days Before Rodeo.
Playlist. Dude. Yeah, I have a whole playlist of all that shit. Yeah.
So those are all Alex Toomey mixes too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
that's a sound.
Mamacita and like all that.
All that stuff, bro. That was a sound, and I love that sound. But,
me too.
But I'm not looking for that sound anymore. I'm like, it's like, bro, I listen to Chief Keef every now and again because it's like. That was a product of, like, I don't listen to new Chief Keef anymore, but like if I'm listening
the original, or like when it came up like 2012,
exactly, some stuff like that, or even, bro, honestly, his tape from one of the tapes from 2017 is called one of the songs called Rifa, crazy, or and then he had this there's some like Chief Keef's hard, like he's great. I think he's great.
Fuck yeah. I mean, he came up, he's still young too as fuck.
Dude is great, right? But like those mixes from the early days of Chief Keef and stuff, like slightly over compressed and all that stuff. It's not like clear, it's just like
slamming.
It's so special. It's not what I want to do anymore, right? want to do at all. But
yeah, you're in a whole other genre now.
yeah, I'm not really working with that type of stuff. And if I am, like, I know what to do, but like nobody's trying to make music that sounds like that. Now we're dealing with people like in the trap world. We're dealing with a few different types. I think of like there's like the people who want to sound like Can and stuff like that. And I'm not talking about vocally. I'm talking about like the mixes, right?
I feel like I know you're saying that, but I feel like
the Band Lab mixes.
Yeah.
For a C800 though.
Well, I don't know if they do that. That's what they do? No, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but because fucking nah, well, but the thing to me, I feel like one thing that I noticed, because yeah, like I record a lot of people, and we're in a new era of sound right now, currently.
Yeah.
You know, like, but this is why, yeah, like I said, this is another reason why I want to bring, because we came up like around the same time, so fucking. Yeah, that era of like 2016, 2015, 2014, Thug of all like that was the whole sound now. But now of course things change. Like even with Playboy, Cardi, like everybody fucking just honestly is like without him, bro, like everybody like the sound wouldn't be what it is to this day because a lot of people fucking copied his shit. It's for fucking crazy.
I mean, I think that we're entering the golden age of like digital mixing. Like we're
everything digital.
No. I mean, technically, I guess. I mean, it's more like I think now we're entering this age where music is starting to sound good again, and that has nothing to do with like how good the music is, like artists, like the artist is, but like we're entering this new stage of, and it has to do with our generation.
Yeah,
like coming up on all that stuff, and then all our outside influences, things that we grew up on differently. Yeah, and bringing all that together to
this stuff excites me though. Like,
bro, it's so exciting. Hell. Like, the mixes some people are coming out with now that are our age. It's like it's actually cool, and of course, I don't know. It's just like there's a different ear now. Yeah, and I'm just happy that now there's people like compared to like 2019, for example, which was like a weird year for music in my opinion. It's like
to me everything after kind of like 2018, so like 2019,
2019 was weird.
Yeah,
the only thing that honestly, like the Lancey faux mixes, dude, those things are ridiculous.
But he's weird though, because I've tapped into his shit like real quick here. I'll even pull his shit too. Like he has like the song like, or because he has different projects, like he has like Murder Talk. Let me see what show.
Oh yeah, that tape is cool. I'm talking more about a Friend or Foe. That's a crazy tape. Pink 2 is a crazy tape.
No, yeah, okay, so let me see. So
Live Evil's crazy. Friend or Foe is my favorite.
Friend or Foe. Well, yeah, okay, so look, so these, the Friend or Foe tape is
out of 2019, man. Like no, that was the only thing I listened to that I was like, wow, these mixes are different.
This is what like surprises me though, kind of like I don't know how he went about, and he's big in this new wave too.
Wait. Before we get into it, actually, I'm geeking. 2019, hold on. Was Daytona 2018 or 2019?
Daytona?
Is that 2018?
By who? Or what? Huh? I don't even know who.
Pusha T.
Oh, Pusha T. Oh.
Like that whole Kanye month.
Fucking, to be honest, I don't know this.
I think that might have been 2018 actually. Or KTSE, Tarzana Taylor. Because if that was 2019, then I'm geeking. That was a good year for. Okay, 2018. Never mind. Yeah, Lancey Foe 2019. Only thing I cared about that I can remember.
Yeah. No, but to me, the only thing
but I might be geeking forgetting stuff.
The only thing that was weird to me though was like I like Pink. Pink is good, and Friend or Foe, like the mix on this are good. But I don't know. Have you listened to this First Degree?
Yeah.
It's weird though because the quality of the mixes from Friend or Foe to First Degree, they sound First Degree sounds like fucking like they were recorded on an iPhone or some shit like that.
I mean, and that's the thing too, because like
and then Live Evil.
I think it all also has to do with context, because with certain mixes, like I really like mixes that like I'm talking like there's mixes out there, dude, that are so bad and they are so good at the same time. Well, I feel it's because like it's like I'm talking like out of the like when we talk about like rappers from the DMV, like it's really prominent in rap. We talk about like there's like some rock stuff out there that like the integrity's there and stuff, but like rap music, like when the DMV stuff was popping, like Borleone, Gunu, Zan Man,
Oh
Little
yeah.
Dude, all them, right? Exactly.
Yeah. That's
Also,
funny.
even Slime Dollars and NGYL, all that stuff, right?
See, you're mega tapped in with music just in general.
I mean, I used to listen to a lot of that stuff, like 2018, but 2018, and but all those heads like some or like there's if you go. You don't have to do it now, but like we can look at it later. There's some like 9-5 Redo mixes. Stuff. They're not like clean mixes. They were not recorded in a studio, but they sound crazy. Like, and it's because it's the integrity.
That's the future.
It's like
sound
murder
too.
music. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah.
like the stuff is like you could tell like they're popping out the crib and then whatever doing whatever.
Yeah,
so
they
it's
just throw
like
it down.
it's like this. It's like it's all about at the end of the day. It's like if there's like not many people can make the transition to like studio album rap quality. Like like
I like that viewpoint. I mean,
and some people shouldn't like some people just shouldn't do it. Like Lil Pump sounded. I mean, I don't even never liked his stuff, but like he sounded way better before he hopped into real studio. When he was like working in home studios, that quality fit his caliber of artist. It fit the texture he was working with.
That's such an interesting take because, like, I don't know, me personally, like just like as an engineer, like the quality of music that I produce, like I've always like tried to achieve studio quality. You know what I'm saying? Like, like big name studio commercial quality where it can compete with everything or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always tried that. But the way that you're saying it, it's like, yeah, maybe certain artists just don't fit that. But, and even when they try to evolve it, then it just doesn't sound right. And that's why I like that because me personally, I feel like at least as an artist, like you're always supposed to at least kind of like, at least try to evolve. You know what I'm saying? To not stay in one same place. So I feel like me as an engineer, like I thought like, okay, you're gonna do the shit like where you level up. Like no, you're straight. You can just leave it there. Where you level up like sonically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean everybody wants to get better. Yeah, you got a light or something? Oh, there you go. Thank you. You always want to get better in everything you do, and now with all the age of information, people get better prematurely. People get better before they're supposed to get better, and that's okay because it's like they're getting kind of better. But it's like it comes back to like, and this is kind of far out analogy, but it's like, your car breaks down, you got a flat in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
It's like you could Google how to fix a tire.
Yeah.
But you never, like, if you haven't done that before, you don't know how to do it. But you could Google and be like, yeah, I know how to do this. Like, this is what it says, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
car analogies are honestly great analogies.
It always makes
because
sense.
they connect directly to life.
So the connection being like, if you're hopping in the studio, you read all about all this gear, and you know that. I mean, there's like that website Equiboard or whatever. It's like where you can literally see the gear that people are using to do certain album stuff, and you can read all the information about it, and then you hop in the studio and you're like, you got all the gear, but it comes out, it doesn't sound like the same or anything. It's like it's not on the gear, so it's like that's on you. It's like you need to put the work in to know what to do with that stuff. You can't just read and just like be, and it happens to everybody. It happened to me all the time, like. Where it's like I'll use a plugin that I had no idea what and the worst part is like you think you know exactly what you're doing, but like
you try it,
but 6 months down the line you're like, whoa, I was going crazy with that. I was doing too much.
Well, what I want to say about that is I feel like everybody like who's trying to be better thinks that the people above them know exactly what it is that they're doing.
Yeah.
But I feel like nobody knows. Yeah, like nobody like you think that people are walking around knowing exactly whatever the fuck it is that they're doing, but a lot a people walk around and they really don't.
Unless they're like
know.
Doctors or something. I hope my doctor knows.
Well, 100%. But if we're a doctor, I mean that's the difference between that's the difference between like a doctor and like a fucking what do you call it, like a creative outlet or whatever.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like how do you know when a patient is good when they're not fucking dead? Like,
How do you know when to finish a song?
yeah, you don't know. You could work on it
You
forever.
work on a mix for the rest of your life if you wanted to.
Exactly, literally from fucking now to 80, 90 years
It's
from
about
now.
having that vision and accomplishing it. And that's the beauty about the whole, I think, mixing stuff. It's like or just music in general. And that's what actually, I mean, this is finally answering a question you asked me at the start. What got me into it
Yeah.
is it started with me having a vision because I started making music for myself, right? Like,
Yeah.
I was like rapping and doing stuff, and it's because like I wasn't getting the music I wanted to listen to, so I just started making that, right?
Yeah. I love that.
And then,
yep, same.
and then, but that extends to other people because other people have that vision, right? And it's all about that. I mean, with whatever creative stuff, it's like, yeah, you could just hop into something and just spit whatever or just paint whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But it's special when it's like some of the greatest songs I ever made. I walked into it knowing like there's a song on my next tape that
it's your own, like you?
Yeah. I literally just
I
had.
want to hear that too.
Yeah. I literally just had the whole like I thought about it. I was in bed. I thought about the whole song for 30 minutes, right? Fucking wrote the song, like had it all in my head, and then knew exactly what I was supposed to sound like, what the beat was supposed to sound like. Got out of bed, made the beat, and then did the whole thing. Done, right? And it's about having that idea, that feeling, that vision, and your expression, something that's so pure, and bringing it to reality and making it actually like tangible. And that's what got me into engineering, where I could do that for myself, and I saw that I could do it for other people, and where I was able to. The best is when somebody gives you a revision on a mix. It's the best feeling ever for me. Most people like
they're like revision.
a lot of people are. It's like, oh yeah, can you turn this down, this that, and I'm like, for most people are like, oh,
yeah.
I'm like, thank you. Like, yes, I'll do exactly what you want.
I'm the same way.
Because it's like, dude, like, I want your vision to be exactly the way it wants. And
I love that.
And the only reason you're coming to me is because I can do it.
They trust you, and you could do it exactly.
You know, it's like
exactly.
It's not going to take 15 revisions. Although it's like there's a few tapes I worked on.
It's a fine line, though. No, it's a fine line because there's certain artists that they completely take advantage. But to what I say to that though is like, it just depends on the revision. Like let's say like an artist comes up to you, they record a full song, right? They record a song with you or whatever, and then they're like. They give you revisions like, yeah, okay, turn up, turn down, but then after they give you another revision where like, nah, I want to re-record the whole song. That's not a revision at that point.
No, that's a new session.
That's a new song.
That's a new
that's a whole new song.
No, if it's like that's like, dude, that's bro. Thank God that's never happened to me. Like people want to re-record songs, but it's never been like treated like if it was nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like re-recording, bro. Listen, that's a fine thing, and that's why as an engineer you need to be good at your job because if you and it's happened, I'm sure to you too, where because it's part of the growing up process where if you don't record something right, you're screwed. You know, it's like what we do is we do our best to get the best thing from the source, so we don't have to. We don't make things sound better. We make things sound where they're supposed to sound. You know what I'm saying? It's like so if you're in the realm of making music sound better and being an effects mixer, go ahead. But you're not going to get that balance and clarity that will compete with everything on the market. And if you need to re-record a song and it's your fault, which has happened to me all the time. Well, then,
like, that you have to
learn from.
You have to redo it.
You learn from. But when an artist wants to come in and wants to re-record a song, it's like
I feel like I've come across that more.
Oh yeah, and listen, I'm not. I do that with Esme, for example. I've done that. I mean, she's been very good at it. Cheek, very good at it. Like, where I'm surprised because like Esme, for example, she re-recorded this song like 3 times. You know, and it's not it was like a 4.5 minute song or something. She re-recorded it 3 times. 5 months apart, and it was because there was something missing, either the beat, key, swing. There was always something, right?
Yeah.
And she killed it. I mean, yeah, there's differences. That's the thing is like when you re-record as an artist, you can't expect to come out with the exact same product if you're not prepared to deliver the same product.
Okay.
You know, it's like there's no two. It's like gear. Like you put two 1073s next to each other.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be exactly. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be the same
Well,
deal, but it's
it just
not.
depends. All the vintage gear is not the same.
Yeah, I'm talking about real 1073s.
Yeah, like the vintage, it's not the same at all.
So it's the same thing with vocals, which is the most, in my opinion, like the most difficult instrument ever, because you don't have a button to press or a place to put your finger that will hit that note. It's all in your
on the artist. It's very intricate.
So if you're it's like Cheek is a monster. He'll do a whole song in 5 minutes, right?
It's fire. I love that work ethic.
Bro, that dude is.
I love that
dude
work
is a
ethic.
monster.
Yeah.
He's he's my favorite rapper. Like
fuck yeah.
I mean, this is not a toot his horn or pause to do anything like that. It's just like
pause.
I'd put him
resume.
I'd put him up against anybody.
Yeah,
and it's not a competition. I just like that he's my favorite rapper.
You just have faith in him. You.
Dude, I've known him for a while now. I've been making music with him. His work ethic, dude. The way he delivers, his preparedness, his vision, the way he knows what he wants, and delivers, and accomplishes it. Where I know that I could I know that he could record a song 10 times, and like there's been moments a few weeks ago I recorded this thing and I made a mistake. Okay. Very stupid mistake. And and he had recorded the whole song already. Okay. And then I found out at the end, I was like, oh dude. And he was like,
what was it though?
Bro, I'll tell you after. It's embarrassing. It's really bad.
I'm down.
It's really bad.
I'm down.
It happens. It's really bad, but it's okay because it was like at one point you get to the point where you don't even think about those things because they're so stupid. Like and you're like, oh really? And he was like,
honestly, say what was it, dude? Nobody's judging because I had the community of engineers. We all do it.
I had the monitor knob on my Apollo up like to there.
Okay.
Complete difference in recording.
Really?
Dude, yeah, it was spitting out this thing.
Oh.
Even if it was low, it was spitting it out. And I did this. I was like, because I didn't hear it at first, so I didn't even, and then I turned it down. And this was to say that when...
It's funny because honestly, that's not even the end of the world. I'm not going to lie, bro.
No,
I've had sessions where I've done the exact same thing.
For me,
it's funny.
For me, it's like, if the reason I know, like, yeah, it's not the end of the world. If it was like an artist or whatever... Listen, I take that on myself, but I make sure they never found out because, like, I deliver a mix that made it didn't matter. With him, I can be like, hey, and he was like, oh, he literally was like, I wanted to spit it again anyways.
Well, that no,
it's like funny. I wanted to rap it again anyways.
It's funny because when you make mistakes with certain people, and then you're like, fuck, like, oh, I actually fucked this shit up, but then the artist's like, no, yeah, I want to do it. Like, it's like a huge relief. Off the shoulders.
And that's why as an engineer you just got to do every day I just learn it's like there's certain things you got to put in place and then you let the artist do what they want to do, and there's variables that you have control over, and you need to make sure that those things are set. You need to make sure simple things, they're not clipping this and that, there's no problem in the signal chain, that it's like you're not pushing the compressor too hard, or they're getting enough in their headphones, little things, right? I mean, it's also like a service. But once you have that down, and it's quite simple. It's like you need to let the artist do their thing. And it's great when you're able to like be vulnerable with an artist and be like, hey, this and that.
It's the relationship with the artist, and that's what I like to talk about to people a lot too. It's like when you build that relationship from artist to engineer, you get a little bit more lenient, and my other homie who I said his name's Mike, the fucking dude they call me Mikey. I'm still mad at you. No, I'm just kidding, because he knew I was doing this, but fucking like his podcast is the one that's coming out this Friday, and he has his own studio and stuff and all that, but. He said the same thing. It's like, when you build a relationship with the artist, it lets you get like a certain level of quality that you're able to get versus if you don't.
It's natural, and that's the thing, dude. It's like that's what it's about, bro. It's like our craft is like we're just here to have fun. At the end of the day, like it's like we just had like at least for me, whenever I'm working with music, it can be frustrating sometimes or whatever, but I just have fun all day, dude. Like it's like it's work. It pushes me. It does a bunch of stuff, but it's fun, dude. Like
that's the best thing about engineering, because at the end we're just creating music, so that's the
man.
funnest thing. But all right, fuck it. We went on a sick one, and we're honestly, I hope you're ready because we're barely getting started.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, this is still the beginning.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, so fucking yeah. If anything, I'll switch out my SD card too. If my SD card runs out, like trust, we'll have like
you're gonna find out. It'll tell you if it does. Right?
Yeah, it'll tell me it'll stop recording, and then I can just start another one. But we're good because I have another one. So with everything that we talked about, you were talking about all these trap artists, all these old records that you're into, and all that kind of stuff. So you have a very, very I feel like your taste in music is even wider than mine is, because I feel like I listen to a lot of shit, but you have a super wide taste in music, and you like a lot of different things. But besides that, like what are some of the songs, genres, or artists that you listen to growing up, and what are the types of music that inspire your musical creations?
All right. I'll do the whole. There's one artist. I didn't grow up on this artist, and this person is not just an artist. You know, I didn't grow up on this artist. It was I was put onto this artist way too late.
Who?
Prince, dude.
I wrote that right here too. Cause that's the thing. Cause like you said, you were put onto him too late, but I even wrote here. I was like, why Prince? But continue.
Why Prince? Dude?
Yeah, cause yeah, like I follow you, and I know you like him like a lot.
Bro, that's God, dude. Nah, Prince. Listen, I'm not trying to put Prince on a pedestal, even though he deserves to be on more than a pedestal. Because at the end of the day, like, you know, I like to think that he was not human, but I got to bring myself back to reality sometimes.
Like the Sandlot said, more than a human, but less than a god.
Yeah, I mean, Prince is just Prince, dude. Like, so,
yeah.
There's so many reasons. Like, Prince, man, is just like, okay, so if we want to talk about just musicality, he's like, I think he's the best guitarist to ever live.
Okay. Yeah.
Hands down. I think he's one of the best performers to ever exist. His mystique was like his whole image was great. Even when he was like semi corny, it wasn't corny. It was just Prince. Like he was one of those dudes where it's like, I don't know, man. He like that's a role model, bro. That's the role model for me is Prince. Like I mean, to be able to create what he did throughout time, consistently work with the people he did, inspire the people he did. I mean, everything that I love has been a product of Prince. And, you know, I the things that I grew up on, weirdly enough, is things that Prince, like, you know, Prince was about, funny enough. And that's not to say that it's like, it's not to say shit like that, but it's more just like, I was always around that realm. You know, it's like I grew up on, my dad played, like, I grew up on like Zeppelin and The Doors and Sly. My dad played a lot of jazz growing up. Growing up, I didn't even know. I used to not like make fun of my dad for jazz. I'd never do that. But like we had a piano in the house and I would just hit random keys and be like, "Hey dad, I'm playing jazz," you know? But but clowning. And then to stuff like Common. I mean, yeah, my dad, like he put me on to like Freddie Hubbard. He put me on to Zeppelin. Zeppelin's why I picked up a guitar, really. Days Confused is the reason I picked up a guitar. That song. I grew up on funk, R&B, soul. I mean, I got a lot into funk a lot more like in the last few years. But I grew up on like soul stuff. I used to listen to a lot of 50s stuff when I was little. Trying to think what else. Bro, Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
Jackson.
No,
dude.
I was gonna talk too, like, so because
we're gonna talk Michael Jackson versus Prince, bro.
Yeah, I want to talk about.
I have an answer. I have an answer to that question. It's simple.
A lot of people, but
everybody wants to talk about Michael Jackson versus Prince. So this and that.
Yeah,
bro. Michael Jackson and Prince are two aliens from a different planet.
That's funny.
In my opinion, like honestly, all these Prince heads, and I'm like, I consider myself a Prince head. You know.
Yeah.
But a lot of Prince heads like to be prideful talking about, and you know who you are. I'm talking about one person out here, and you know who you are.
So let's see if you're tuned in.
Yeah, Michael named his son Prince. I'm like, dude, like really? You know what I'm saying? Like
No.
Michael was inspired by Prince. Bro, who wasn't inspired by Prince? You know, so it's like
Who's older? It was Prince. Prince was older.
Prince. I think Prince was born in 54, I think, or 53. Michael Jackson was what, 58?
Oh, okay. So
think.
but it's not a huge
He's
difference.
or 59? No. I think I think Prince might have been 55 actually. I don't know. Might have been. They were both born in the 50s. Let's just keep it there. They were both born in the 50s.
That's how you know that they're true legends, because people still fucking talk about them to this day.
I should know this, dude. Here, let's see.
All right, we're gonna do a quick little fact check.
Little fact check. Prince was born in I was wrong as hell. 58. And then Michael Jackson 58.
The same year.
Same in the same year, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait, hold
So
on.
that just goes back into the debate.
Yeah.
It's like fuck, like.
Prince was older by 2 months.
But that's not
2.5 months.
That's nothing.
It has nothing to do with it. I think that listen, I grew up on a lot of Michael Jackson.
Because I'm
From an
more
early
familiar myself personally with Michael Jackson than
That's
Prince.
yeah, me too. I was until 3 years ago. Now I know a lot more about Prince than I know about Michael Jackson. And you know, I think that the gear used talk about engineering, the gear used for both things are completely different. Well, not necessarily, but the sound is completely different, and there's just so much to learn from both of them.
Yeah.
I think I respect Prince as a musician a little more, but I don't want to compare them because they're not comparable. You know, they're both geniuses, and you know, it's like we could talk about this and that and all this here with MJ and all that stuff. But regardless, it's like as artists, you know, it's like both of them, I think, reach the pinnacle of artistry.
Okay, so you like Prince, but who else do you also like besides Prince that influence your kind of like music?
Growing up, I mean, when I started,
or just
like,
artists in general. If we're just gonna talk strictly artists, like what other artists do you fuck with heavy?
Now, I mean, nowadays, man,
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of D'Angelo. I listen to a lot of Fela Kuti. I listen to a lot of honestly, my phone would tell me what I listen to.
That's funny as fuck. The phone.
That's crazy. I don't know. On day to day nowadays, that's when I have time to listen to music. Like now, I'm like most of the time I'm listening to stuff. I'm listening to mixes or I'm listening to stuff I made. You know, so it's like to like stuff I did yesterday with whoever to make sure the mix is right. Or
what about artists?
Change stuff.
What about artists like let's do it like for the past like maybe like 5-10 years. Yeah, like what are some artists and inspirations that like inspired you?
So yeah, we said Prince, Dilla. I mean, even though R.I.P. Dilla, that's a while ago, but you know, I listened to that 5-10 years, whatever.
Yeah.
See what else? Yeah, out of recent stuff like Thug. Grew up on Thug. Grew up on Odd Future from being young stuff. You know, Freddie Gibbs, Alchemist, Madlib, all that stuff is super cool to me. I had a little phase with Griselda and stuff, but I can't listen to West Side Gun anymore.
Why?
Because like, it's kind of like I can't listen to West Side Gun anymore. Conway, I can listen to Conway all the time. Benny, they're all great. I'm not trying to throw shit. They're all wonderful. That's just not what I'm looking for anymore, you know. So I would say, yeah, like out of the ones that really inspire me, it would be like Prince, Dilla, D'Angelo, Jamiroquai, and then like the Madlib, Dilla, all that stuff, like, you know.
I feel it. So
Pharrell.
Yeah. Fucking also, so real quick too, what I wrote down here.
Kanye.
Yeah. No, I know you like Kanye a lot too. But yeah, so also besides that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I also know that you've traveled a lot and I know you speak French. You speak any other languages too?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I kind of speak Spanish, you know, like kind of. I grew up speaking Spanish stuff, but I lost it because I didn't really speak it after like 12. And I had Spanish class and stuff. Like, I can understand Spanish like well, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes the conjugation and stuff speaking is a little trouble. But I can get I could have a conversation. I feel like maybe I can't. Who knows? Maybe I can't hang. But
Yeah.
those are the ones that I could speak.
Yeah, and you fucking so also too. So I know you've also traveled too. Did because I know you've been like to Europe and all these other crazy places like that. Did when you were out there, like, what was the music scene like over there, or did any of those ever influence you, like the scenes over there, like
kind of? I mean, so like I'm French, well, like half French. Most of my family's out there, and like on my mom's side, they're all out there, and stuff in France. I mean, when I went to school out there, I was getting into like French rap and stuff, and it was cool. Like, it was a different sound. It's cool. When I was in the UK, I went with a friend of mine. I went over there when I was like 14, because he had family out there, and that was when the grime stuff was starting to hit the US. And so it's 2015, and I remember that was when in 2015 I started getting into like JME, like Boy Better Know, all the BBK people, Skepta gigs, all that stuff. DEE, so good. And so that kind of influenced my stuff. Nowadays, like, yeah, here and there I listen to some UK drill stuff. But yeah, I think when I was traveling, I was always still listening to what I'm saying, what I was listening to. Yeah, like when I was studying out there. When I was studying out there and stuff, like in France, like I definitely got put onto some French rap and stuff I had no idea about. And even going to a French school out here, there's a lot of French kids who are like born and raised out there, and they would come with their music and stuff, and some of it was tight, some of it wasn't. But that's kind of with everywhere. I would say that there was never something that influenced me from those places, though.
It was more from like around here.
I think musically, but like the culture definitely influenced me.
More.
Yeah, like being around in those spaces and like seeing how people live out there. That definitely gave me perspective. That definitely affects my mixing and my production and my songwriting. You know.
Yeah.
Talk about things that in France, you know, it's like if you know, type deal.
No, yeah. So, yeah, the reason why I asked that is because like I've just stayed here, so all I know is like what people are bumping out here on the streets. Like you fucking pass by, you see people fucking, or you see people bumping like just a bunch of like stuff that's made out here like in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? Like not a lot of people are tapped into shit out there, but I know you've had your fair share of experiences and shit like that that do influence, which is another great part of fucking just traveling. But so when it comes to creating music, like this is what I want to talk about more, because we talked about like how you're not really rapping but you still make music. Like if you could right now, you know what I'm saying, not talking about like back then or whatever, but right now, like what is the genre of music that you make or that you enjoy making? Like if you could put it like in a genre. Because like you're like from the shit that you played me, you know, it sounds like more like house, like not technically, but like not house, like garage,
kind of everywhere. Like
it has like a different like.
Well, the music I make,
it's like groovy and shit.
The music I make for myself is definitely like heavily inspired by Prince, and there's like some house elements, like 4 on the floor drums, like 4 on the floor kicks and stuff. But like not in everything. You know, it's like I did this song with Max a few months ago. It's very far removed from the house stuff. I would like to say I'm kind of all over the place. Stuff that I make for different artists, that all differs on the artist. Like I'm able to make whatever, whenever, you know, like So it's like with certain artists, with I make like garage and house and neo soul shit, and then another one is like Dilla beats. I mean, they're not Dilla beats. They're like me beats being inspired by him.
Dilla,
And like other people, it's like trap stuff, and then. You know, when me and Max are making Afrobeat stuff, little jazz here and there, whatever, like, it's kind of like, I mean, it sounds like really like, sort of like pretentious and stuff, but like, I like to call it like just contemporary.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I make pop music. Like, this, if I'm being real, like, I think I make contemporary pop you know, like
Yeah.
I make pop for nowadays, you know.
Yeah.
I don't make no like Doja Cat pop, but like I make like the new sound of pop, you know.
When you're making music, you know what I'm saying? What, like, I know you use a lot of like live instruments and all that stuff, and I know you play a few instruments. Like, you fuck around with like the keys and the guitar. And
I wouldn't say that. I honestly, if I were to say the instrument, I play bass, and I'm trying to get better. You know, like I wouldn't call myself by any standard. Like I wouldn't say I play keys. You know, it's like here and there I dabble, but like I'm not a keyboardist by any. Like I like to do some synth leads here and there. That
Yeah.
stuff's super fun. But no, I'm not a key player. I play bass. I could put together a little lick,
yeah.
some guitar stuff, but like I would definitely, I'm more comfortable playing bass more than anything. You know, it's
Really?
like, oh yeah, that's my baby. You know, it's like it's what I like to do. It's what I like to do.
So what's your process on, like, how did you learn to play, like, creating your own music? Because I played guitar. I have a guitar right here.
Yeah.
Like I knew how to play guitar, but I would play like rock songs or whatever, but I would just like learn how to play the songs, but I never really learned how to like implement them, like to create my own melodies and all that kind of stuff. So how did you, like, how do you go about it when it comes to like playing and playing like your own melodies and stuff? Like, do you know any music theory, or do
Yeah,
you
I mean,
just play like what comes to
so
mind?
I mean, my process is usually drums first. You know, like I program drums, and have that set the stage for where I want to go.
The
And
groove,
then
yeah.
and that's the thing. It's like I'm like rhythm section because bass and drums are the rhythm section. So
Mm-hmm.
from there, if I'm working by myself, like when I work with Max is different. When I work with Max, is like he's on keys, I'm playing bass, and most of the time, I mean, it changes from here and from, you know, it's like maybe I'll pick up a guitar and he'll play bass, or he'll do some like synth stuff, or I'll do some synth stuff. He's playing it, whatever, right? And we'll like program drums and then create. But like for me, when I'm doing stuff by myself, I'm drums first most of the time, and from there it depends. You know, it's like drawing, like figure out a little chord progression, have some keys here and there. You know, I more and more. You know, it's like I like having a vision for something, but when I work with for myself, you know, it's like it's like if I'm not exuding, if I'm not like, I'm not like Prince, where it's like every single minute of every second I'm like thinking about different chord switches and like, oh, this would be great.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, it's like I sit down, I have a feeling, and you know, it's like I get it out. And honestly, I'm like with whatever it takes. Every process, it's always different, but I'm always drums first. Always drums first. Then it's like drums, bass, keys, or drums, keys, bass, guitar. Guitar's usually last. And then like synth textures. Synth textures either go with when I'm doing keys stuff. And when I work with Max, for example, it's like it varies. It always varies, but I would say that I'm like rhythm section based. So like drums and bass are the most important to me.
Yeah, I feel like well, it's the heartbeat of the music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And even like it's funny because I can program drums like pretty easy. Like for me, like in my head, it's just like a rhythm, like you know what I'm saying? It's like it's not like super like pitch wise or whatever. So that's how I fucking would start music too, because I've played around with beats here and there too. Like I've been fucking around with beats too, but I've never really been super good at theory. But that's something that I want to like learn a little bit more, maybe, or not even like really learn theory.
Me too, man.
Yeah,
I could say that like maybe I know the basics and stuff, but like the thing that's really interesting about music theory is that it never ends. And like working with somebody like Max, who's like studying jazz piano, right? You really learn that there's so many different ways to play the same thing with a different feeling, and
all the voicings,
exactly,
the intervals and
exactly. So, you know, it's like, yeah, I definitely, I feel comfortable like with the basics, but and you know, but there's always more to learn. There's always more to learn.
Yeah. So, speaking on the topic of learning, You know what I'm saying? I also know that you went to LA recording school.
Yeah.
Do you still go there, or
No,
did you
no, no, no.
graduate?
I graduated in March.
So how long is that like for the full
The
course?
program.
Yeah.
Oh, so I did the bachelor's. I did 3 years. They have an associate's program. Um, that's like 18 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that like? Like, did you learn anything valuable through there from going to school, or like because like that's a very traditional route, and
Yeah.
like I know like from my audience at least, like not everybody did go to music school, so
For sure. For sure.
I wonder like was it worth, or like did you learn anything that was actually like worthwhile going there?
I would say that the most that I had to gain from going there in retrospect was some of the relationships that I developed. I met some friends there.
And it's funny because that's not even about like making music. It's just like connecting.
I learned a few things. I mean, what's interesting with that school is like you get what you put in, and what I did learn, most of what I learned had nothing to do with mixing. It was mostly about things that I wouldn't have gotten into otherwise, like audio for media, post production stuff, and like and I guess that goes into mixing, but more I'm like Dolby stuff, or it's like things like that. I wouldn't have had access to it, and through that school, listen, it's not worth. I don't think it's worth the money. I think people are better off if they know and they're either young enough, because I think studios are more open to that. You go work your ass off at a restaurant, get some bread, and then go spend it on studio time, and start to, if you have an engineer there, start to develop a good, meaningful relationship, not one where you're just like asking him like shotgun, like, or AR-15 question, like, like, where you're developing a meaningful relationship. And if you come across the right person, you'll learn a lot. And then if you're there for a year and a half, you can ask for an internship opportunity where, it's like things line up, and you learn a lot more in the studio or in the environment that you want to be a part of than in an institution.
School. Yeah.
Although some of the teachers that taught at the recording school, and this is just for Lars, for LA Recording School. There's other recording schools out there, dude, that are just phenomenal that I didn't even know about. There's this one in Arizona that I've heard amazing things about. I know some people who went there, and they teach great things there, like etiquette. I didn't learn about studio etiquette in school. I felt like I had some understanding of studio etiquette, but once you work in a studio, that's when you start to understand the little things. What are
some common practices of etiquette that you feel like you've learned just like yourself?
Well, it's funny because I've actually gotten that question where it's like, what are certain things? I think that for the most part, it's actually like, the way you express yourself in the room, and.
Okay.
Like, there's a little thing, for example. You're done with the session. There's 8 heads in the room.
Yeah.
Session's done. You don't go to the entire room like, okay, song's done. Like, who do I send it to? Whatever, right? Like, you don't do that. You find the producer, or you go to the artist. Like, little things like that where it's like, while otherwise it's like I've been in sessions where everybody wants the song, but the artist doesn't want everybody to have the song. It's like you can't just assume. And that's like some little stupid thing. Like, I think once you're put in the place where you're also representing a studio, you have to represent a certain standard.
Yeah.
You think about things differently. You say different things, and it's not like you're not overthinking stuff. But it's like, I'm trying to think of examples, but it's a service, and if an artist isn't being the nicest, it's like that has nothing to do with your job. Okay. You should be like, it is like, you can't take things personally. You might you could, but you can't show that you're taking it personally. Your work for a studio, it's like you need to ensure that client comes back.
Yeah.
It might not be with you as an engineer, but you're put in a position where you're representing an entity, and you have to, or a business, and you can't cause damage to that business, or you're not going to last long.
They'll
fire you.
Yeah.
And then I thought about this. You get fired from a studio, you try to go to a different studio, they're gonna ask you why did you leave?
The other studio.
Yeah, and it's like, because clients were asking me how much it costs for me to record them at my crib, and I was quoting them. It's like, yeah, no, you can't get a job here. You're stealing clients. You know
that will get you fired. Yeah, huh?
Dude, that's like the easiest way to get fired from studios, poaching clients.
That's
because
funny as fuck.
you think it's harmless, but because it's like it's a studio, like they got people. Nah, dude, like if you're poaching clients, I mean, I've heard stories, man, and I almost fell into that trap because
that's funny as fuck.
I almost fell into that trap, dude, and thankfully I asked the owner. You always have to run things by the owner or studio manager. If ever as an engineer you feel uncomfortable, you don't know what to do, you have to be transparent with the people,
with the studio manager,
and you have to let them know, like, hey, I don't know how to handle this situation.
Mm-hmm.
I just want what's best for the studio. So like, let me know what to do, and it's done. You know, I mean, you shouldn't do that for everything. You should already know first of all. But like, if ever you're put in a predicament, having that conversation with the studio manager or the owner of the studio, if you know them, definitely helps, because it also puts you and the studio, like, it's a bond, you know. It's like there's definitely corporate recording studios that it's quite cold and stuff, but I'm blessed to have an opportunity at a studio at Studio City Sound, where, you know, the people are so kind, and they've taught me a lot, and they've been nothing but kind. Yeah, they've been nothing but kind and generous to me, and, you know, it's like, it's definitely something that you have to be appreciative of.
Yeah, so that's my next topic. So how did you get plugged up with? So the studio called Studio Sound, right?
Studio City Sound, yeah.
Studio City Sound. So how did you get plugged up in that spot? Was it through the recording school, or was it?
No.
So how did you get plugged up through that?
That was the first studio I ever went to. It's actually through Cheek. Cheek used to do sessions there. He used to book sessions there, and I would go, not as an engineer, as an artist. I would go.
Well, you would go with Cheeks, right?
Yeah, and other people, some of his other friends, stuff like that, and I hadn't been there many times, maybe 3-4 times, you know, with him, and I wasn't booking studio time, like, you know, it was really him putting it forward, and it was great. I mean, it taught me a lot, but through that, he developed a relationship with the owner, Tom Weir, who's like Grammy Award-winning mixer. I mean, and it's just solid dude. And, he developed a relationship with him, and, you know, it's like, I wouldn't say that I developed one. I mean, I introduced myself a few times, stuff like that, you know, like.
Yeah.
But I wasn't looking for a studio job then. And then I went to school, and at one point, you know, it's like they were supposed to put something forward for an internship, but COVID hit. It was complete
mess.
Yeah, complete mess. The school didn't handle anything correctly about that. But I graduated, and the next day I went to the studio. I went to a few studios, but that was the first studio I went to. I also went to Windmark Studio in Santa Monica, because a lot of really cool projects came out of there. A lot of Kendrick stuff, Travis stuff, some Kanye, Pharrell stuff.
Really?
Big Heads came out of there. Not came out of there, but they were doing a lot of cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
But you know, I was really focused on Studio City Sound, because like I'd already been there, and like I felt comfortable there. Like I don't know, like I didn't know the rooms, but I kind of had an understanding of it, and I mean, compared to the little stuff I know now about the studio, it's like I knew nothing, but I was just really hoping to work there. So I submitted my application, and then
did they ask for the?
Nobody's ever asked me for my diploma.
Really?
I have my diploma at home. I've never been asked.
From Lars.
Nobody's ever asked. I mean, they asked if I did go to school, and I said yes.
But they didn't directly say like, okay, let me see.
No. I told them. They were like, oh, hey, whatever. You know, I was like, hi, I'm here. Drop off my resume. I graduated from Lars yesterday, and this was the first place that I wanted to go to, because this was the first studio that I was really ever in, and it means a lot to me. You know, I'm from the area, and I would love to sit down and talk whenever you guys have time, if that's cool. And they're like so kind about it. And then I got an email a few weeks later from one of the chief engineers over there, Jeff. Great guy. I mean, shout out Jeff, dude. I mean, they're like everybody there. Everybody there is wonderful. And you know, I was nervous, bro. I was so nervous. I was like, You know, this dude, he's worked on a bunch of really cool projects and stuff too. And so he's like, "You're Ethan?" I mean, and he told me, it was like, "Yeah, man, I gave you a call because, you know, Tom, because I also mentioned that, you know, I used to come here with Cheek and stuff, and they knew him by name and stuff." And he was like, "Yeah, man, like, your Cheek's friend, like, you know, Tom told me to give you a call, you know, so big up Cheek for that one."
That's interesting though, yeah.
And
Because it's just basically about like if you book a session in a big studio like that, then even a connection like that could happen.
And that's why I say do it yourself. Like if you really care, like put in the work. I worked in restaurants for 5 years, from the age of 16 to 20. You know.
Yeah.
I was working, or yeah, exactly. I was working in a restaurant, so like, or 19. I don't know, something like that. But like, so you know, you need to earn bread. Like, do what you got to do. And I mean, yeah, I sat down, had the interview with him, and he was really cool. I thought it was gonna be 30 minutes. We ended up talking about 2.5, talking for like 2 hours, something like that, about gear, talking about stuff, and like with like early on into the interview, he'd let me know, he's like, "Okay, for sure, cool. Like, I feel comfortable like knowing that you have somewhat of an understanding," because you know, we were talking about stuff where it's like if you've been doing this since like for 5+ years, like you would know.
Well,
like,
you already with your whole background.
I was talking about like black box stuff, like you know, and like talking about saturation and talking about like flavor, taste, texture, all that stuff, and like saying the right things.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, I put my reverb on my as an insert, you know, like
that's funny as fuck. They'd be like, "Huh?"
So that's the thing, but I've seen some interns in there who don't know much, and I'm envious because it's like they're really in a period where they're learning, and I learn every day when I'm there. Like there's not a day that's gone by where I haven't learned something. But when you're at a period where you really where ignorance is somewhat bliss, somewhat ignorance, semi-ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
And honestly, these aren't people that I could name by name. Like, you know, there's interns that are there, not interns, like people like my age who work there, but are just like solid, like they're about their work, you know. But there's other people who come here and there, and I haven't seen some in a while. But regardless, it's like they're in a really great situation because, you know, they have some very knowledgeable people. And all those people I'm talking about, the intern stuff, they're also super ambitious, which is good. Like everybody, it's a great environment. Like people want to help, and I learned from those people. There's always something to learn from somebody who's been doing it for 6 months to somebody who's been doing it for 20 years. You know?
Yeah, that's interesting. So, so you scored because what you got was an internship.
Yeah, I started as an internship. It was an internship, and it's kind of like. They just recently told me to log my hours, you know, so it's like I'm slowly getting out of that, I'd say, you know, but who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's cool. So once you got the deal with it and you were already there fucking putting in work, whether it's the internship or whatever it was that you did, what was that like? Like, what were some of the daily things that you would do within the studio?
Well, when I started, it was kind of my first day.
Like,
My first day, I had no idea what I was going to do. I was like, because you read all the things on Reddit and all that stuff, and it's like, make coffee, sweep,
throw the trash, be a runner, do this, do that.
I mean, the first day I was there, the first thing I did was I did a run. I went to Ralph's, but
fuck it. I mean, that's not the end of the world,
dude. Are you kidding? I do that. I still do it. Like that's not the way that studio works. Is like, that's not necessarily like. It's not just for somebody who's new, like, you know, it's like that. It's like the owner.
It's just helping out.
That's the thing. Yeah. It's like I was just helping out. I mean, the first week I did there was super. What was super cool is that they were resetting up this shed room for like a songwriting room and stuff. So I got to set that up with the owner's nephew, Chris, who's a great dude, great guy. So I was there every day, bro. I put in hours, dude. Like, I mean, I'm talking like. The first day I didn't stay super late. I stayed till like 10:30 or 11 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I've pulled like, you know, it's like get there at 5, leave at 4. I like there's this one time.
But it's fun though.
That's the thing, bro. Like me and Jeff, bro. I was there one day. I showed up at 5. I left at 6:30, 6:45 in the morning. And me and Jeff were literally just talking about. He put me through a crash course, like.
It sounds like fun though. I mean, if you're in a studio and you're in there that long,
Dude,
like,
and it is
a
fun.
big studio with all the gear, because I'm sure they have like great gear.
Oh yeah, they have a bunch of cool stuff. I would just say it's just if you're an intern and you're starting at a spot, just stay busy. Like, don't go on your phone. Don't go on your phone. Like, don't waste time. And that doesn't mean don't be a kiss ass, but like,
yeah,
if you see that like the floor's dirty, like do it. Don't go into a session if you're not asked to go into a session.
because there's multiple rooms and all that.
Yeah,
right?
so it's like if you know that a room needs to be clean before a session, make sure you get that shit clean. Clear the trash cans all the time. Put the trash cans back, trash bags back. People make that mistake. They don't put trash bags back. It's like all the little things. If there's like mugs, clean the mugs. Don't have them have to ask you stuff to do stuff. Just like be a helping hand. Wrap cables in out. Like, there's a way to wrap cables. It's like just be helpful and don't go like. But don't be a kiss ass. Don't go like too crazy where you're starting to do so many things that you're getting in the way.
Yeah.
And usually studios operate a certain way, so it's like if somebody has like a cup there that looks like it's like it's an empty cup, and it's like, but it's like next to them or something, don't go and throw it away. Who knows?
Yeah.
That might be a cup they drink from every day. Who knows what it is?
Like something stupid, small like that. Yeah, but just like to
Who
not
knows?
intrude. Yeah,
You don't put yourself forward in that situation. Just kind of like help out and do as much as you can to not get in the way. And then for me, it was kind of like it was good because I had experience. So like a month and a half into there, there's this dude who booked a lot of time, and it was like 2 a.m, and it was me, Tom, the owner, and Jeff, that engineer, and it was just us, right? And they were like, "Yo, like we need an engineer, right?"
yeah.
So I go to Tom and I'm like, "Hey, they said they need an engineer," and they looked at each other like, "We're not gonna do that," like they were busy doing a mix or something, like they were really like occupied, like,
Yeah, they're
already
already
stuff.
because as an engineer too, when people ask for like last minute sessions, like to be honest, not a lot of people want to do that.
I'm sure they would have done it if there was whatever. Regardless, they were like, "Go ahead," and they threw me into the den, and it was really cool to see. It was really cool because it's like I hopped in, and it's like I recognized everything on Pro Tools already. Like I knew what I was doing.
Do those studios have like specific templates?
Oh, I have my templates up there.
Oh, okay. So, but like when you go in and let's say you were to book a session, or
in that session, the artist had their template up. This is before I put my templates on all the computers.
Oh, okay.
Because at one point, like I wasn't like running shit. I've never been running like sessions every day there. It's whenever like there's certain people and stuff.
Yeah.
And they at one point, Jeff was like sick, and one of the other engineers was out of town doing something, like some work out of town, like some artist overseas, on the other side of the country and stuff. And Jeff and I had developed somewhat of a good enough relationship, like where there's like rap stuff happening where he felt comfortable like throwing that at me,
Yeah.
And so I was running like session like those types of sessions. So I was like, dude, like I'm gonna just put my template on the computer. I don't want to make these. I can't make these sessions every time, like.
Yeah. So before you had your template, so you were creating every session from scratch?
Yeah, dude, like super minimal stuff, like
pretty
one
crazy.
reverb, quarter delay, eighth delay, and yeah, like the like first vocal bus, like EQ, 2 EQs, 2 compressors, through another vocal bus, multi-band, and another EQ to a submix, and it's all on 2 tracks. So it's like it was pretty straight. I mean, it takes 5 minutes to like create the session, but still, it's like I'd rather just click the button and have everything that I have.
Load up exactly, because even those little 5 minutes, like it could save hella time. Because
yeah, and it's
let's
just
say, like,
nice having it loaded and just being able to sit and like think about what
the
else the artist
creating,
needs.
yeah,
but it's
instead
like,
of thinking about, oh, I gotta do this.
those
like,
5 minutes it's like if you spend 5 minutes doing that, artist walks in, it's like The way I
they're
like
ready
to work,
to go.
the way I like to work, I already like having water bottles in the room for them. I don't want to have to ask them like, "You guys want some water?" You know, it's like I'd rather like, fuck, my bad.
You're good.
I'd rather already have that stuff kind of out for them if they want some tea or something, and then I'll ask. But like, or a snack or something, you know. But like, every minute counts, you know, and it's like you got to be efficient. You got to be efficient. You got to try your hardest all the time. Try to be the best you can be all the time with whatever. And if you're not doing that, man, like,
Then what are you doing?
facts. You know, it's like, and people will recognize, like, people will know if you're just sitting on your ass not doing stuff.
Were there any like working in the studio, like in a big commercial studio? Are there any ever like stressful moments that you have in there?
Yeah.
What are some of those?
Once I did this session in A, which is like it's the biggest room. It's like the biggest live tracking room and stuff, and it's where we have. It's at the studio. They have this Neve console, this Herbie Hancock's old console, and there was this late night session that I did there with some rappers and stuff, and you know, I was kind of anxious because I had never worked in that room before.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to get into specifics, but like at one point, like there was one of the clients touched the console, you know.
Yeah.
And it didn't do damage or anything. It just like they did something, and because I was here, they were behind me, you know.
Yeah.
And like it like rang out and stuff, you know.
Oh, like a feedback loop?
Yeah, and like I immediately, you know,
Turns
like I was like
yeah.
boom, 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 like, you know, on. But there's little things like that where it's like, or like the first time I don't know. Sometimes I would get paranoid like that. The main thing would be like I'd get paranoid that I would be fucking up, like I'd be overthinking what I said and be like, fuck,
Yeah.
like, and not to clients, mostly to like staff there, like, because I don't want to like disappoint or anything, like, and once I was like closing up and like on the way I have to like, of course, you know, you turn all the candles off, all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And I like driving back, I'm like, fuck, did I turn the candles off? Like you know, I was like, I'm pretty sure I did turn all the candles off and stuff, but like I was so paranoid that I fucking drove back to the studio, like, you know, did the whole thing, like, because like there's also, yeah, like did the whole thing, and it was like I had turned everything off, but I just get paranoid, you know. So
yeah, it's not.
I think the anxiety just comes from like wanting to be like on top of being spot on and not wanting to be a problem.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's the best way of thinking about it, because when you're in a, I mean, when you're in a position like that, and when you're working with people who are already like kind of like at a higher level, you don't want to kind of like upset them or any way, shape, or form, or worst case scenario, you could like get fired or whatever. Exactly. They're just like, or it's like. It's very like, it's like a social thing at that point, because then they can be like, oh, like, yeah, nah, Ethan wasn't really up to par or whatever. Not even just you, just like whatever. Like if anybody else watching, like they could be like, oh, like this person wasn't really up to par, or whatever, blah blah blah. Like, oh, like, you know. But
that's the thing. It's like if I'm not up to par, like I shouldn't be there, you know. And I'm happy knowing that. Like I would want them to fire me if I wasn't up to par. If I was like being a nuisance, I wouldn't. At the end of the day, I just want what's best for the studio. So it's like, if I was a nuisance, it's like, if I'm the bad thing in the equation, like I need to be subtracted. You know, like I need to be like taken out, and I'll figure it out, go to a different studio, and learn from that, because it's like, yeah, I'm just, you just got to, it's just real life, dude. Like,
yeah,
you know, you just fuck up as least as you can, and when you do, learn from it and don't do the same fuck up again. Like. You got to learn from your mistakes, specifically in a studio setting.
Yeah, I feel like that goes like hand in hand with like a lot of just even jobs, just regular jobs too. Like in whatever position you're in, like at 100%. The end of the day, you're getting paid to help out, and if you're not helping out properly, then they're not gonna use you anymore. Even if you're fully independent, you know what I'm saying? That's why like. It's interesting because there's like two different settings. Like, yeah, you're actually like in a big recording studio, professional setting, wherever everything that I do is in here. But in the same way, it's like I always try myself, like independent wise, I always try to deliver the utmost best quality service and everything else, because that's just how it has to be.
Yeah,
because
100%.
because at the end of the day, you guys are just building names for yourselves. Like you're building a name for yourself and whatever it is, whether you're independent or you're working in other studios, and you want people to kind of like keep you in good spirits.
Yeah, you're trying to bring clients in. You're trying to, it's like at the end of the day, you're trying to rise up the ranks. You're trying to get better. That's all it is. You're trying to get better. Like
yeah. So that makes sense. But so apart from all the studio stuff, I also know that you have a distribution deal, right? Do you still have that distribution deal?
Yeah.
So what is that looking like for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, another question that I want to ask is like the distribution deal that you have, is it just distributing the music for the artists that signed the contract or whatever, or do you also distribute like your own music as well, or kind of like what does that look like?
So the runaround of it is me and a few artists that I work with. Cheek involved, Zeke involved, Esme, who I've talked about.
All you guys are in that shit, right?
Yeah. We signed a licensing deal to this label, SoundPhonics. Big up SoundPhonics.
So is that different than distributing?
Well, I'll explain. Okay. So we signed a licensing deal where we licensed a number of songs to that label. Meaning the way our deal's set up, it's not a publishing deal, so we didn't sell masters. So for me, for my own music, my own like album or EP or whatever, I did like a 7-song. I did. Okay, I did an amount, X amount of song. Instead of a fuck. Anyway, I licensed that to the label, and they take a percentage of the royalties for a number of years. Off that, right? Now that label, SoundPhonics, has a distribution deal with Universal. So through signing the licensing deal to SoundPhonics, the music that we license to them will be distributed by Universal. Now, if I made a song and I didn't want it, because I have a number of songs, right? So let's say, like for me to, if I submit those songs and then after I want to drop more stuff, if I don't sign another deal, then it won't be distributed by Universal. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like, it's all intertwined. It's all intertwined.
Okay. So, what are the benefits of having a distribution deal? Like, or well, the licensing deal, and then it goes through the distribution. So, what are like the benefits for like artists? Because compared to being independent, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I know,
well,
like
I'm not losing my masters, so I still have full ownership of the publishing of music. Meaning, if a company wanted to,
the intellectual property.
If a publishing company wanted to come up to me and say, "I want to buy your EP for $100,000."
Yeah.
Buy all the rights to your stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I say yes. Now, that means that they're in that music, like if that's within the years of the licensing, let's call it like 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Let's say 3 years down the line, they're like, I want to buy your album, right, for $100,000. It's like, okay, now cool. Let's say I say yes, right? That means that now they and SoundPhonics do the splits. I don't have to deal with it anymore. I retain ownership of the master of the music. The benefit for distribution licensing is that there's lanes that I didn't have that now I do have access to.
How so?
Like Universal putting stuff to the forefront of streaming. It's like
and how do they do that? Like through their connections?
Yeah, bro, it's Universal. It's a major it's a major label. Like there's a reason when you go on Apple Music, those artists are there. It's not because they just dropped music, it's because they did, but they're backed by like people put them there. It's not Jack Harlow who put himself on the first thing for What's New or whatever. Or Rap Caviar, all that stuff. Like who do you think there's not one song on Rap Caviar. I might be wrong, but I doubt it. Like there's not one song on Rap Caviar that was like submitted independently by
through TuneCore, like DistroKid or whatever.
Unless they're like fucking Chance the Rapper or something, like who's like the epitome of. And also like I studied that in school. Like the Chance the Rappers, those types of heads, bro. The reality is that you are called an outlier, a unicorn. Shit does not happen. Like,
Yeah.
it is. So it's like, listen, if you want to be independent, do all your stuff, listen, do it. But know that there's lanes you can take where you still retain ownership of your music and you're in conjunction with these labels. QC,
Yeah, quality control. Yeah.
distribution deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's licensing. Like, it's literally what I do. It's like, at that time, I don't know what it is now, but when QC started, let's call it like Migos, licensed their music to QC. QC had a distribution deal. So it's the same lane.
Oh, and QC had a distribution deal, but with who?
I think it was Epic. I'm not sure though,
Oh,
or
okay.
Capital. I'm not sure. I think Epic's through Cap. I'm not sure, dude. I'm not
And
sure.
that's what pushed it into the forefront of everything.
Well, it
else.
gave them that extra oomph. Like, listen, they had the streets on lock, but it's like there's a reason why batting
Bougie.
was international, dude. Like, there's a difference. Like, and that's not to downplay the power of the streets, but it's like, you just have a better chance of going international. Like, where there's people in Thailand talking about my bitch bad and bougie. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, it's a lot more difficult just coming from no label push, and that's just the industry. That's just the way we're set up now. But more and more, artists are getting leverage with like platforms like TikTok, all that stuff. Like, like it's like you got 5 million followers on TikTok. You can leverage your deal and be like, those people.
Yeah,
if you got 5 million followers, if you got a following, you got momentum.
Yeah.
Don't sign. What's the point in signing?
Yeah, because you already have that
unless
leverage.
you need, and you'd sign publishing, and that's if you need the bread. Like, over there, like, yeah, we'll give you a mill. It's like, it's a different story. Like, guaranteed, like, not in advance, that's a different story. But
so I guess it's like a little like because Universal already has like its own network. But like you're saying that because you're doing it through Phonics.
Yeah.
So they're plugged in.
They're pushing everything.
So it's just like, I guess that goes more into like the people that and that's just like all like the legal stuff because through Universal or whatever they have those extra connections to push your music.
Listen, if the music's not good, it's not gonna do numbers, right?
Agreed.
But if the music's good and you're dropping on DistroKid, TuneCore, whatever, you're most likely not going to do numbers if you're just dropping.
Yeah.
Just because the music's good. That, like, 40,000 songs drop on Spotify every day.
Yeah, well...
So, if you have that distribution deal with the Universal or whatever, you have a way better chance of...
popping off.
If the music's good.
Yeah.
If you sign it comes back down to the artist. If your music's complete garbage, you have a less chance... And you got a distribution deal because your followers and stuff...
but it's just like how people consume music, and that's just like the philosophy of human nature and what people like and what people think. Yeah, so it gets pretty crazy. But so how did you even get that distribution deal? So Phonics under Universal, but I know it's from Fabrice, right?
So Fabrice was my mentor. I met him in 2018. I want to say 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
And he had this place in Montecito Heights. It was like this crazy house, and he just had a studio set up, and met him through a mutual friend, and we talked, and he was always trying to set up this label thing, and he taught me a lot about music. He was a crazy bass player. He had a crazy, like, he was one of a kind, and yeah, so he and some other people who started the label, were right. Like, the music was good, dude. The music's good. Like, the music we're dropping is good, dude. So it's like that mixed with, and they were better than me. Fabrice passed away a few months ago.
R.I.P. Fabrice.
R.I.P. Fabrice. But that mix, he was 50 years old or something, and so there's experience there, relationships that develop, and with all that, it was like the time had come. It's like everything was in place. So it's like we signed with him, and then he was able to him with this other dude, Frankie Boise. She's a DJ out of San Francisco, and he does a bunch of cool stuff. Producer, all that. They started the label together, and through all the years of experience and stuff and connections, and they were able to push that button.
Yeah. So with the distribution deal in place, you guys already locked that in. So what do you have planned with the artists that are under it? Like, what are you guys working on? You know what I'm saying? And
We're working on a lot of stuff. I mean, at this point, we're with Esme, we're working on the next tape right now.
I saw that you guys got you got a song with her that got like a bunch of streams on it. How many streams did it get?
Shit, we can find out right now.
Esme. Let me see. I just and that's through the distribution deal?
Nah.
Oh no, that was independent.
Yeah, I mean that was through Phonics, but that was before we signed distribution.
I don't know what love is.
Yeah.
333,000.
333.
Yeah, 333.
Yeah, we dropped that. Fabrice and I produced that record. And you know, she sings and she wrote. Yeah, so we made that song, and her and I made I've known her forever, since we were like kids. You know, she's one of my sister's best friends. So I've known her since we were growing up. Her and I made the first beat in like 30, 40 minutes or something. It was a super cool, like it was cool, and then she did her shit on it, and it didn't progress. Like, we worked with Fabrice on it, and it became that. And I would have never done that. Like, honestly, that song, to be real, that's not my style, you know. But it did numbers, and it was shocking because like there was push. There's definitely like some push, but you know, the music's good.
So that was before you guys signed the deal?
Yeah, we had an agreement to do it through Phonics though.
So you guys released it through Phonics?
Yeah. If you look on the song, it says Phonics on the bottom, you know, like.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, that's the song.
So as far as Phonics by itself as its own sole entity, what did they do for that song?
They did some like what's the word? Some PR stuff. They honestly, dude, I didn't even ask questions. I'm gonna be real. Like, I don't even know 100% of it, because like I know that before that he was like because we didn't want to do it through Phonics because we hadn't signed the deal yet or anything. We were in talks, but we were like, and he was like, do it, like bro, trust me, like let's do this. You'll see what we're about, you know.
Oh, okay. And
we did it, and she released it early, dude. We released it on DistroKid.
Oh, really? That song?
Hell yeah. And she was like, yeah, I'm dropping it. Fuck him. And she and that, bro, it annoyed me because we had this whole thing set up. Like,
and then she just
we had this like billboard thing set up. We had this whole thing set up, and she just said, fuck it. And it was the first song she ever dropped, dude. And it did numbers. And honestly, the fact that shit dropped almost 2 years ago. It's gonna be 2 years in December.
Really?
Yeah, and it's still doing numbers, dude. And it actually, like, it took longer to get to 100K than it took to get to 200K or 300K.
Yeah.
Like, right now, I think we hit 300. I forgot when we hit 300K, but she's getting like, I mean, I think she has 15,000 monthly listeners or something like that.
Yeah.
At one point, she was at like 20,000 monthly listeners, and she still hasn't dropped more. Like, they're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like she's still on one single, dude. Like, she dropped this one thing with homie of hers from the UK and stuff, and it's not like it's a cool song, but it's not doing that type of numbers. I think it's doing like 6K. It has 6K or something, but like she doesn't have music out there, so it's like we have momentum with her, and the music. Oh my god, dude, the album that's done right now.
Yeah,
it is, bro. It's good, bro. That shit is good, dude.
Oh yeah,
I'm proud of it. I'm really proud of it.
So that's dope. So besides Esme too, like you have shit with like Cheeks and Zeke too under that, under Phonics and all that stuff. So what's that looking like?
Honestly, I don't know.
Still up in the air right now?
No. It's not up in the air. Like it's actually like quite the opposite. I can't really. So the thing is, I can't really speak about those projects because like I didn't really have. It's not like I recorded all the projects, mixed all the projects and stuff. But with Esme, like I produced all those, pretty much every song. Like I did every song, all that stuff. Like did some songwriting on it, like a bunch of stuff. So like I could talk about it like as if it's part of my project. With them, like I don't want to say something that's, you know, like I know all I can say, and it's weird saying this now. All I can say is like Cheeks tape is crazy. That shit's been done. Shit's done.
Yeah.
Zeke, he's got a lot of stuff going on. He's taking a slightly different approach. And you know, if ever you have him on the podcast, he'll be able to tell you
I'm down
about
as
it.
fuck. I'm down as fuck. Yeah.
Because he's doing something different, which is super cool. But yeah, like everything's like we're right now, like as I said, like as we're already working on the next tape right now. With Cheeks, like Cheek, like he's working on a bunch of stuff right now, a bunch of exciting things, and there's things that are he's got a lot of music, you know. So I'm excited to see how he takes that, where he takes that. I can't really speak on it because you know it's like I'm not gonna speak for him, you know.
Yeah.
But his stuff is really crazy. It's crazy, you know. Cinch season is what it is.
I'm excited, bro. I need that super cinchy. I'm still waiting on that fucking sweater from Zeke, bro.
That's
Zeke,
crazy.
where's that shit at?
That's crazy.
It's been a minute, but so and then real quick, we'll wrap up real quick because low-key we only got 4 more minutes.
All right.
Because I could switch to HD, but I think let's just wrap it up pretty quick. But so besides from all that other stuff or whatever, like, do you have any solo music for yourself that you're working on, or you're just more concerned about them?
Well, in the last few months, you know, I've been working on everybody's project here and there. Whether it's producing, mixing, whatever, recording, touch-ups, all that stuff. So I've been really hands-on on everybody else's stuff. I have had some time to work on my stuff. I mean, I've got a tape that I'm happy about. You know, there's some songs on there that really mean a lot to me and stuff. But you know, every month or so, like it switches. There's songs that leave, songs that you know, it kind of switches.
It's part of the process.
So I'm still in the process of like, I haven't had the feeling of like this is it, you know, and that might change by the time this comes out. So who knows? Because you know, it's like it works that way.
Hey, well, I knocked these out pretty soon, so.
But yeah, who knows? I got some stuff. I got some exciting stuff cooking, and it's definitely it's coming. I mean, it's easy to say coming soon, but like it's coming sooner than later. You know, I don't have a precise date right now. There's things that need to be put in place. There's stuff that need to happen before I drop. But once I drop it, bro, it's gonna be. It's over, dude. Like once I drop, I'm
excited for it. Yeah.
Like this whole new, it's a whole new perspective.
Fucking yeah. So for the last final thoughts, so I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a heavy one.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
There's a lot of shit in this, but real quick, do you have any real quick just shout outs or anything that you want to do for anything like that?
Shout out
Cheek,
shout out Zeke, shout out Esme, shout out Max, shout out everybody at Studio City Sound.
Yep.
Shout out I'm definitely forgetting people, but shout out everybody. Shout out Miles. Shout out Brandon. Shout out Carlos.
For all the ones that we
shout out Goob.
Yeah, for the ones that we might forget, because I feel like I do these shout outs like at the end of every podcast, and sometimes like we do forget. But if he forgets or if I forget, if we ever forget, just you're if you know, you know.
If you know, oh yeah, shout out the Triganos too. Shout out my pops. Shout out my assistant.
Shout out my assistant. Just
shout out everybody, man.
Yeah, but fuck it. So I think that's good. I got 1 more minute on my SD card, so I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. But this is another episode of the Goobster's Room podcast. If you guys enjoyed this, or if you liked what we talked about, or if you learned anything from it, just feel free to share with your friends or whatever it is. And I want to say thank you guys again for tuning in, and especially if you watch the whole thing, you know, it means a lot. And hopefully we get to do more of these and bring out other people, bring out some people that you know what I'm saying, some other shit, so that everybody can fuck with it, and we all can just come to light and be a part of this whole network of what it is that we're doing. But with that being said, we're gonna wrap things up, and thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. So peace.
Dude, yeah, that mic is just, honestly, I think it's the best sounding mic I've ever. I mean, you know, everybody's here. Sorry, my bad. Scooch. Everybody has a different voice, and everybody's got a different voice, but you know, I've used it on multiple sources, and
The
the 251, man,
yeah.
it's just like outstanding. Uh,
Why don't you like the U87s?
dude, it's like the AIs.
Okay.
It's the 7K boost, dude. It's just like,
Too brittle.
yeah, and that's why I didn't like the 103.
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
Hate that mic. And that's I'm not the only one, you know. If you go on Gear Sluts, you know, it's like it's very like live or hate.
Yeah.
But the 87s, I was super geeked when I got it. And listen, it's a great mic. Oh no,
Yeah.
it's a great mic. I'm not trying to say that it's a bad mic.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason it's the standard.
Yeah.
You know. But for my taste, and that's what, you know, it's like when you start recording people, you develop your own taste in music and style of like wanting to do, and it just doesn't. It's too bright and brittle. And funny enough, I prefer the C800, which is known as like a brittle mic.
That. Yeah.
The C800, I used to really not like it. I used to think it was like, yeah, too bright, the whole thing. But it's actually like, I mean, through the classic chain, you know, 1073 Tube Tech. In the last few months when I've used it at the studio, it's actually cut perfectly. It wasn't too bright. I never had any sibilance issues as much as I have with the 87.
Really?
87, I've had, like, I don't even like to use de-essers anymore, stuff like that. Like, I'll put, like, Renaissance de-esser if I need it, but those are usually EQ issues, right? And, like, yeah, I don't want to multi-band compress highs, like, extremely to the point where I'm de-essing all the time, you know? So, I dealt with an 87. I dealt with that with 87. I got rid of it. And I also, I mean, the main reason I got rid of it is because somebody stole my computer. So I had to,
really?
Yeah. So I had to.
Fuck, how did that happen?
Dude. Somebody got into my car, bro. Somebody broke into my car. And,
pretty fucked.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fucked. But, regardless, the next one, bro, is a U47, dude.
That's what you're gonna get? Or that you like?
Bro, yeah.
Or the original vintage ones?
Yeah. At the studio, they have one, dude. It is just, it's so big. It's like, it's a great mic. It's a great mic. I've only had one session. I've only tracked with it once, and it sounded super cool. I did it on this girl, this lady. She she does like rock stuff, right? And I was kind of like not nervous. I mean, it's a great mic, so I wasn't like, but I was like very curious to see how it would sound with it, because you know it's like that's like the Frank Sinatra mic. You know? It's like,
Well, isn't his like modified? Like it's like, I heard that his is modified.
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
That it's like one of one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not like a 47, but it's like a 48 or whatever. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I read that in the book that I was showing you, the Al Schmidt one.
Oh yeah.
Because he was the one that tracked them.
Oh, there you go. Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was modded. My next purchase that's mic related, which is probably not gonna be for a while, because I'm honestly happy with what I have, and if I need
how much
something,
did the other one run you?
The Stam?
Yeah.
Bro, it's like so affordable, dude. It was like, I think it was like $900, something like that. Like,
I mean, what I want to do though is like, I don't know, like the way that I feel like I have too much pride. So like I like taking ownership in my shit. I don't like buying and reselling shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I buy it and if I fuck with it for a certain amount of time, and when it's time for me to move on to the next piece of gear, like I'm not gonna sell my old piece of gear to get that new piece of gear. Like you get what I'm saying? Like to me, it's like I guess I just honestly it doesn't matter to nobody but myself. But I become like too attached. I'm like, bro, I've recorded these songs on this mic, so I want to keep it.
You're never gonna lose. You're never gonna lose that if you sell it, because listen, it's like 87 AIs. They're never gonna stop. I mean, they're not gonna stop making these things for a long time. You know? It's like, so it's like, I mean, I met this dude. Actually, the dude I sold my 87 to, he flips gear for a living, right?
Yeah.
Like he sold his Lindrum machine to Andre 3000. You know, like the week
really?
prior. Like the dude is like, that's what he does. He wakes up, goes on every possible site you want,
and just buys. Yeah.
And just like
buys low,
goes
sells
through
high,
stuff, right? And he consults and he does a bunch of stuff. And the one I bought him was his 7th 87 of the year.
Oh, that's funny as fuck.
You know, so it's like, and that actually, I was kind of on the same page as you with stuff before talking to him, and then I was like, you know what? Yeah, like we have a long life to live ahead of us. You know, it's like
Yeah.
we should because who knows? It's like you'll always find an 87 somewhere. You know, those things you can find an 87 anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And, so it's like it's interesting because it's like after that conversation with him, it kind of made me want to go look for more stuff, and like I was having 500 series stuff at the time, you know, and I was like, oh, there's a bunch of cool 500 series. I kind of stripped everything. I sold my 500 series stuff.
Oh yeah, because you said you had that.
The Portico, I don't like that thing either. No. Yeah, dude. Like honestly, it like more and more I'm just learning. It's like the less the better, dude. Like and
Yeah.
You know, it's like if there's an opportunity here and there that makes sense to get a cool piece of gear, you know, it's like yeah, I'll do it. And
Yeah.
But right now I'm content with what I have, and if I really want to go do something, you know, it's like go to a studio, like
yeah, to book to test out the gear that you
with what I'm working, like my portable setup is like more than enough to get like a song that's good, you know. But there's a definite difference when you're tracking in the studio, you know, like mixing in a studio. Also, like speaking when you're like, you know, it's like there's a difference. You're working with it with tools to your benefit. When it's not necessarily the same. When you're in your room or something else, you know.